Before we start, the name is at the top right of the screen. The story begins as there's blood splashed on the ground. The woman who is injured ponders that this guy is the male lead, and that guy is the sub-male lead as she focuses on the unconscious men. She is aware that they are the first and second sons of the Orca family. One died after being blinded, and he is the youngest. She ponders that she cannot believe she did not get past 22 years of age in this episode either. In this world, it is like a parenting genre novel. 20-year-old, 21st-year-old, and 22 years old. She has experienced this world 3 times already. She assures herself that it is not her fault that she was born into a villainous family. She has been reincarnated into a cute parenting novel. There's no one else who lives as pitifully as her. Someone begins to step towards her as he has a dark demeanor. She is astonished as she ponders he is a living dragon, the one known as the Dragon Duke. She grits as she is aware if those crazy male leads did not drive the dragon dude crazy, none of this would have happened. She thinks, why did they have to provoke and create such a mess? She wonders if a tragic ending makes sense in a parenting novel. She seems pretty nervous before she gets startled. She wonders if that is Soul Street behind him. She wonders why is she seeing it. She becomes aware that if she goes there at this moment, she might be able to go home, which causes her to have a glimpse of hope. With the happy look, she is aware that she can go to her home. It is the 3rd episode of parenting novel. With a determined look on her face, she ponders that in her next life she would conquer a dragon. Somewhere else. 2 women are conversing as one questions if it is the year for a dragon's bride this time. The other responds that they say she did not awaken any power when she was born. Questioning is not being a dragon's bride the same as being sold. She's listening to their conversation as she ponders that she has to be useful to the family in some way. Realizing that these guys are all talk, but talk louder because in this life she will definitely become a dragon's bride. This place is a world title as she became the doom baby daughter of the Duke of Orca family. She tried to live well by changing the original story, but everything she tried ended in a failure. Not only that, she ended up suffering from the curse of repetition, being forced to regress. Beyond the spectacular failures of the first and second attempts, she failed to seduce the original main lead and had sudden death as a scapegoat. Ambitiously started the 3rd attempt. She fell victim to the original main lead strategy and ended up being killed. However, the last thing she saw of the Dragon Duke's power before closing her eyes is that if she has that power she might be able to return home. The maid her down in the room as she becomes frustrated and wishes for the maid to be gentle. The maid leaves as she thinks that she's still ruthless even towards a child. She knows that she's a dispensable existence in this family. The head of the Orca family, Ocula Equatio, questions if it's here. She is referring to her as she realizes today is the day she will receive her name. She asks the attendant about the power of water. The power of water refers to a special power passed down through generations in the Orca family. When activated, aquatic beings can freely exert their power, even on land. The stronger it is, the better it is for the aquatic animals. It is the ability to remove constraints on the power of all aquatic animals. Ocula seems annoyed and asks the attendant if he brought something useless. He questions about the child's name as she responds it is Calypso. She decides to name her Calypso Equatio. The attendant agrees to present her as such. Calypso wonders if this is the end. She realizes this cannot be because if she cannot attract Ocula attention like this, she will be abandoned and die. To be sold as a dragon's bride, she has to survive at least until she is 10 years old. She shouts wait, causing both the attendant and Ocula to be startled. Ocula turns around and asks her what did she say. She calls out to Ocula as grandma. Ocula asks the attendant did she know how to speak and questions who taught her that. He responds that children typically begin to grasp simple words at around 2 years old. She questions if it is not common knowledge that whale offspring start speaking later and startle until they are 5 years old. She steps towards Calypso as Calypso thinks it is good. She asks her to say it again and Calypso repeats grandma. Ocula states that it seems like she does not only speak, but can also understand. The attendant tells Ocula that she has not learned separately from the maids and nurses. Calypso knows that this is the ability of Reincarnator, calling them old fish heads. Ocula wonders if a genius emerged among the fish heads. Calypso calls her Grandma Fish Head. Ocula grabs her and picks her up as she calls her a cheeky one. She mentions that Calypso looks exactly like Pierre, but it seems that even though it has no power, it develops fast. Ocula asks Calypso if she can prove herself useful. Calypso extends her hand and touches her hair. She then pulls her hair, causing the attendant to be shocked. She ponders that she is sure she will do it and tells Ocula that she is doing well and she can talk and she will be the one to prove it, pondering that she will definitely go back home. Ocula begins to laugh. She questions underneath the guy who gave up on life. Something like this came out. She throws Calypso on her bed and tells her all right. Calypso seems annoyed by the fact that everyone is treating her like a child. Ocula tells her that she will postpone the disposal of that thing so they can put it in the education institution this summer. The attendant tells all right as she mentions if she does not show results at the educational institution, then she will be expelled, and there won't be a second chance. Calypso is all determined as she ponders. Let's see, she will grow quickly and become the best, then leave this family forever. Her goal is to survive safely until the age of 10, but her physical abilities are still lacking, and she is too far behind. She looks at her hands as she thinks that since it was decided that she would go to the educational institution in this life, it would be much easier if she had a guardian. Where there it is not entirely impossible to survive alone, if it were not for the educational institution. The maid puts her down on the ground and tells her that in a week they plan to move her residence. Calypso thinks that their attitudes change in an instant when she is recognized for their abilities. She tells them to go ahead, thinking that among those humans who are graced with the survival of the fittest, an adult who possesses overwhelmingly formidable power that would make anyone fearful, yet understands her who has not yet awakened the power of water, has unique taste, and is not deeply involved in family power struggles. It is Father Pierre Aquacetal. She thinks that they say he did not even come when she was born, and he did not even take care of her older brothers. It is said not to appeal to the bond between family members. So first, he should not find out that his daughter, although she is weak, she may have a powerful power. If she catches his interest, she can expect help. She has the memories of previous life. She never thought that those talks would be useful in this life. She finds her father sitting in the front as she becomes astonished. She seems really nervous before she smiles gently and calls out to him. She asks him if he happens to know where the educational institution is. She knows that in her past life it was so short-lived that she could not see the real thing. Thinking if this is what they mean by a beautiful person has a short life. He remains silent as she wonders if he is ignoring her. He tells her that she has taken the wrong path for a while now. She states that she really has to go there and questions if he cannot just take her there. He refuses it and tells her to go back the way she came. She realizes that there's really nothing easy in life. She gets up and sits beside him. She wonders how can she get his interest, thinking if she should try giving him food. She reached for her purse and tells him that this is a dried fruit that she gathered and asks him if he wants one. He does not respond to her as she sighs, thinking that she did not expect this. After a while she tells him this really quiet hair and asks him if he does not have any friends and if he always play alone here. She tells him if that is the case then he must win only like her. She begins to get frustrated thinking if he is going to keep on ignoring her. She guesses that she will have to be satisfied with making her presence known today. She gets down and tells him that she should go now. She greets him goodbye and tells him that she will see him again. She begins to walk away. His hand seems a bit injured as he looks at it and wonders if that was his daughter. He thinks that she must not know his true identity. Students are thinking that he must be thinking the same thing. The appearance of a direct line to the appearance of a collateral family is different, but the personality looks similar, so there is no way he would not recognize her. It is already the night time as she comes back and hears the maids talking. One maid tells the other to quiet that down. The other maid states that for a kid who has barely any abilities, it takes a lot of efforts and it is useless. If only she could just get rid of her quickly. It is a place where they leave young whales like that alone, until they die if they do not awaken their abilities. To survive in this insane environment, she needs Pierre's help. Mind thinking that she's confident in showing enough genius to pique Pierre's interest. She came out to meet her father in the morning, but she wonders if there is anything she can do about this weak body of hers. Her older brothers all inherited strength and physiques. She wonders why she is the only one who is weak. This causes her to be really frustrated, realizing that nothing is working. In her previous life, it was known as tears shed by a water dragon. She has awakened the power of water by possessing the treasure Linnaeus, but she can just rush out to find the treasure right now. She thinks perhaps her father's conquest should take priority after all. 7 questions if this is the right place, and if they come in wrong. She hides somewhere trying to peek. The other responds that it is the right place. She wonders who is in here in a place like this. It is 2 guys and one mentions that they said there is a direct descendant born here. The other responds that he gets it but questions why. They say that they cannot even use the power of water. Moreover, they say that they were going to be sold as a bride of the dragon. The other one mentions that they will be recognized by the Lord and moved to the main house. If they do not discipline them now, it will surely interfere with Bayon's plan. She thinks about Bayon, causing her to think that he must be the eldest son of her uncle. She's aware that in that case, those guys must have volunteered to become collateral. They get scared finding it scary when Bayon is angry. She takes the items. They are the guys who have entered under a promising successor. It is not unreasonable for them to ignore other direct descendants. One of them states that they have to scold them harshly and make them unable to think of anything else. She ponders that she does not have the power right now. Realizing that she has to escape like this, she ends up making a sound, causing their attention towards her. They both calls out to her and tells her to wait as she realizes that she is done for. They both begins to run towards her, telling to catch her as she runs ahead. They are looking for her. She continues to run, gasping for breath and realizing that she is exhausted. She knows that she cannot hold out much longer. She ends up falling down, realizing that she is caught. One of them asks her if she's really a direct descendant and why does she seem less than competent. He mocks her that she cannot even use the power of water. So how did she get recognized by the Lord? She tells him that he said it well. She questions if they both are the collateral ones under the lesser Bayon. They are shocked as one questions the other if he heard what she said or if he's the only one who heard it. Wondering how old is she? The other responds that he heard it too and asks her how did she catch the Lord's eye without even the power of water, questioning if she is not just a pest who has nothing to show. He points at her as she becomes frustrated and she grabs his fingers and bites onto it. He shouts in pain and questions what the heck is this, but she continues to bite it. He cries in pain as it is swollen. She questions if they are done talking. She tells him that if she's a pest, then he is worse than a land creature, and calls him a barbaric fish head. She questions how dare they compare her to those primitive land creatures. They question what is she saying. One of them tells her that he tried to reason gently with her. She wonders that it was good to say a word, but she cannot run away anymore. She has no chance against the 2 of them. She points at them and shouts, questioning if they think that her dad will stay quiet. Both of them are confused and wonders if her dad is Lord Pierre, causing them to be scared us in the intense competition for succession among grandchildren. Being recognized by the direct head of the family, she knows it must have been unwelcome news. Still, she's aware this is crossing the line and thinks how can the 2 grown boys pink on a girl? They tell her to not lie, questioning why would he bother with her if he's disappointed and that he's someone who even rejects the family lord's call. She asks them what did they say. She states that she was on her way to meet her dad right now. She wonders what is wrong with exaggerating a bit. She tells them that if the direct subordinates of Bayon are doing this to her, she wonders what her dad would say. She knows now is the time to use that as a shield. The other one tells him to stop as something feels off. But he begins to get angry, stating that he has to fix her attitude and she should get paid for his finger being bitten. She closes her eyes as he seems to hit her. She wishes, if only she heard the power of water. Right then, all of a sudden, her power activates and he floats in the air. She is herself shocked. The other person tries to wake him up and questions that he said she cannot use the power of water. Then what happened? The decides to leave. She shows them the middle finger and wonders what just happened herself. She realizes that she suddenly awakened the power of water, finding that really impressive. Her father is behind a tree. She's aware that now that she's all dirty like this, she might not be able to see her dad, and she needs to treat these wounds too. It was her dad who used his powers. He wonders if she knows who he is. She mentions that she misses the time when she could be tough. Her father thinks about it, being confused. The new day begins as after that day she tried to use the power of water, but nothing happened. She realizes that, as expected, she has not awakened it yet. She knows it was going so well before someone knocks on the door. She allows them to come in as one of them Maid introduces herself as Miss A. Mrs. states that she started working here today. She asks Calypso to please take care of her. Calypso ponders that she upgraded from Miss to Princess. The maid tells her that the date for entering the Primary Education Institute has been set. Calypso wonders where has she seen this person before. She didn't suddenly remembers. To fight against the land-dwelling beast, 2 conditions were required: a commander with exceptional water power and a base with the ability to locate water sources. In a unit without a commander with the power of water, water sources were essential. She wonders where she has seen this person before, though she seems unaware of it now. She thinks that she might be useful later, so she should remember it. Missa asks her where is she going. She responds that she is going for a walk. She is told that this area has many collapsed buildings, so it might be dangerous for her to go alone, stating that she should accompany her for her safety. The Lips of Wonders is not being the dragon's bride just getting sold off. Remembering Ocula's words that if she cannot prove her worth, she will be expelled. She remembers that she was called useless and that they wished they could get rid of her soon. She tells the maid that she's very kind. Missa is emotional. Calypso thanks her, but tells her she's fine on her own. Goes outside as she calls out to her dad. He asks her if she's lost again. She tells him no and questions if she looks that stupid. She's aware that it would be unwise to ignore her. She questions if he knows how to use the power of water. He questions what if he does. She tells him to teach her as he looks like he would be good at teaching. He asks her based on what. She responds that she does not know that but just got that vibe. He asks her what does she mean. She tells him that she really wants to learn and asks them if it is not possible. She tells him that she is giving him a chance to raise a genius discipline. He asks her who did she inherit this cheekiness from. She tells him from her start. She states that her dad is super handsome and incredibly capable, and he's the most awesome person in the world. He wonders if he was like that. She tells him that he also loves her and he treasures her and worries that she will get hurt. He's soft-hearted and cries if she gets hurt. News about her past that who would call her princess and tell her that he loves her so much and asks her if she got hurt and that he would kiss her to make it better. Her dad and mom showed her with so much love that she forgot that she was adopted. There are irreplaceable family and to be reunited with her mom and that she would definitely return home. He asks her why does not she learn from that father then? She states that he is busy and he seems free so he can help her out. Right then, all of a sudden, she begins to notice the power of water. She looks at her father as she realizes he's applying pressure with water power. She tells him that she is going to the Educational Institute soon, so to be the best day, she has to master the power of water. He tells her that forcing an awakening could be fatal, but she tells him it is okay and one only lives once. So what is the big deal if she dies? Besides, he asks, what does the power of water have to do with the educational institute? She asks him why not. Knowing to become the best, it is essential. He wonders how do they raise kids these days to be so crazy while he's the craziest person here. She tells him that her dad would want her to be an outstanding orca. He thinks, why would she lie so blatantly when she knows who he is? She asks him to then help her as he remains quiet. She tells him that as he can see, she's incredibly smart, and if he can just help her a little before he uses his power of water, and she begins to float in the air. He thinks that in this contradiction, what will she do if she gets caught? He asks that if she thinks that someone who wants her to be strong but gives no help really loves her. She smiles and tells him, but her dad really loves her, and to her he is the best, and he is the coolest and strongest person in the world. You're going to use to listen to her before. After a while, he tells her, this time to set the time on her own. He mentions that he will tell this to her in advance, but he does not consider age, so she should be here at the same time every day. He lives as she's really glad and excited to know that he's willing to help her. She asks him what should she call him, is it Mr. or Master? He tells her whatever she wants to. She states that she will call him Master and thinks that if he is helping the awakening of the power of water, then it is only a matter of time. She knows that she will never regret this meeting and decision. In her previous life, she was awakened by the power of water with the help of a treasure, but awakening was not the end. She had to know how to control it. Fortunately, she met a certain genius and learned how to control the power. She was questioned if she does not know how to do it, and then that they can try it this way. The genius claimed that by continuously exposing herself to the power of water, she would naturally learn how to control it. Thanks to that, she was able to control the power of water quickly, but she thought that she was going to die. He tells her that she should expose herself to the power of water first. He asks her to take a dive. She questions what does he mean before he repeats himself again. He states that sometimes awakening occurs in the life-threatening situations. She begins to get shocked and tells him that no matter what, she cannot do that. He states that if she doesn't like it, then there are many other options too. She asks him what other options. He describes her very harsh trials as she tells him she will just dive then. She goes for the dive as she realizes that the intensity of the training seems too high for her age. They say that she needs to make her body able to withstand the power of water 500x times. X 10 hours, and they are putting her through extreme hardships. But she begins to feel really weak and ends up fainting before she gets back to her consciousness. She gets back and gasps for air, realizing that she almost died. Her dad looks at her for a while as she asks her if she is an amoeba. He then says no, that even an omega would react to this level of stimulation. He tells her that her talent for awakening the power of water is less than that. She tells him that just because he hits her with words does not mean that it does not hurt. She asks him if he considered her age. She is a 4-time regressor who has forgotten how to be a child. And he is a father who does not know his child. He tells her that if she can handle all the training, does age matter then? She's aware that even though the master says that she felt something move inside her body very slightly, although it is still not enough to compare to her brothers who are famous geniuses, she knows that in this life, being a powerhouse is within her reach. They have arrived at the day has come for her to officially enter the school, and in her second life, she was sold off immediately, and in her life, she quickly dropped out realizing it was full of events. Someone tells her that they have heard a lot about her, and she introduces herself as in charge of the primary institution. She mentions that her name is Layla, and she's the head of the primary education institution. She ponders Risco to see her again. The reason that she was forced to leave the institution in her third life was due to the schemes of the collateral branches. Someone stated that she stole his precious gem and that it was found in her bag. She tried to disagree with that, but they did not trust her. That was her first meeting with Layla. She told that there is not enough evidence and it is all circumstantial, so therefore they cannot accuse her of being the culprit. Despite her calm and rational defense, she was powerless and quickly expelled from the institution. When she later returned to the institution to become the head of the family, she could not find any trace of her. She greets Layla and tells her it is nice to meet her. Layla is stunned and responds that she has heard about it, but finds it surprising that at 3 years old she does not only speak perfectly, but she also has impeccable manners. She tells her that she will guide her to the class she will be joining and asks her to come this way. She follows her through the hallway and ponders that she is matching with pace with her and that she is considered of her falling behind. They reach, as Calypso thinks that, come to think of it, she did not get a chance to thank her in her previous life. Everyone is asked to please pay attention as they have a new member in their class. She is then introduced to all of them. Some of the girls find her really pretty, and they also have heard the rumors that she speaks really well, too. She pointed out that it is a fatal flaw for a direct descendant of the Orca family not to be able to wield the power of water. Due to the slow growth characteristic of Orca, it is normal for all children to start speaking at 7-8 years old. So the rumors of the genius lady who speaks well are not entirely unfounded. However, if they are deceiving with some kind of conspiracy behind it, she will uncover everything they are trying to conceal. Miss Layla is called and questioned. What should they do, as not only is it impossible to continue with the class like this, Calypso sitting with others and tells them that how can they play with blocks as that is such childish games. And then when a kid is crying, she tells them that a grid wheel does not cry. When someone gives her Blankton candy, she pats them on the head and states that she will accept it gratefully. She asks Layla if she needs more time to test. She responds no, and she thinks that she should move to a higher class and asks her if she has a preferred class. She knows everything is going according to her plan and she has been waiting for this moment. She thinks that it is good that everything is going according to the plan. She has been waiting for this moment. She is asked which class she would like to go to. Ship orders that she needs to catch her grandmother's eye, which means that she has to be the very definition of a genius. She asks to put her in the 8-wheel glass in the Alpha section specifically. It is the class with the older students in the primary institution and the one that gathers the best students. She questions her about it. Asking if there's anyone in that class who can speak better than her, she is told that she would be the best. But she must bear the consequences of her own choices, questioning if she understands. She responds that statement alone means that she is not treating her like a 3-year-old, right? Yes, she responded, said she's impressed aside from when her third brother came to the institution. It has been a long time since she has been this surprised. And speaking of which, she is asked who told her about the educational stages in the institution. Calypso responds that her dad told her. She mentions that her dad loves her so much, and he told her everything in detail. She is then guided to the class that she chose as she steps in. Layla thinks that did he really take care of his daughter, as he had never once gone to see his children, and it was basically public knowledge, and if the lady and he met and interacted in secret. Rumors spread faster than use, even if she cannot control the power of water yet. If her father is helping her, awakening is just a matter of time. Rather than the appearance of just another genius child, a new successor challenger might have appeared. Calypso's scheme worked far better than she had thought. It went much more smoothly than she thought. He asks her what went smoothly. She tells him that her great abilities were recognized. That is what went smoothly. He states that he does not understand why she is excited. She cannot control the power of water. She will eventually be eliminated. She tells him that he's just a killjoy, but she understands because she is 3 years old, who is also able to have a great conversation with a socially awkward person like her. He asks her if she wants an additional 10 laps today. She tells him that she'll make a 33-line poem instead. But she asked him to look at her muscles, questioning if he has ever seen a 3-year-old with such endurance. With these muscles, she might be able to break stones soon. He finds it really strange she cannot produce water, but her physical abilities keep improving. He asks her to follow him as there is training to be done. She follows him as she tells him that his house is really nice. She finds it more tests compared to what he can do. That is because he fell out of grandmother's favor. He shows her the place. She questions if that is a pigsty. He tells her it is rude that she's comparing it to a livestock. She apologizes to him and asks him, "But what is this messy room?" He tells her that this is his room and from now on, using the power of water, she will clean it up. She asks him what does he mean. He tells her to clear it up. She states that she heard it, but why cleaning? She questions, should not running use the fact that the power of water is strongest for hitting someone? What is the training related to awakening since the power of water also requires endurance? It tells her that sometimes she speaks as if she knows that power very well. She asks him if he wants her to use the power of water, right? He tells her that she understands it very well. He mentioned that there are several ways to apply the power of water. First is fear intimidating her opponent with her presence. Second is materializing water and controlling it freely. Third is removing the restrictions that water beings face on land. Fourth is using the power of water to enhance the body, which you can only use enhancements so far. If awakening is not far off, she will have to keep using her powers regularly. She wonders if he messed up the room on purpose to train her, finding him a strange father. She calls out to him. Her attention goes towards his expression as she realizes there it is again, that expression of someone with no regrets in the world. She wonders if it is because he is sickly and in pain. It is the night time as she is still cleaning it up. She asks him where should she put this. He tells her to throw it away as it is useless. She knows if her father reacts like this, it must be something important, as this is what her past life's knowledge is telling her. She tells him all right, she will throw it away as she puts it in her pocket. She questions, is not this his? As he responds no, it belonged to his wife. That surprised her, realizing there was no warning before saying that. Even though she is living a repetitive life, what she knows about her mother is that she was an orca and a good person. That is all she's aware of. There is nothing else. She ponders that she does not plan on asking. He tells her it seems like the work was too easy. She responds no, it was not. He states that she should hurry up, questioning if she's planning to do this all night. She becomes really frustrated, but thinks that using her powers continuously is helping her improve. She feels stronger compared to just running. He observes her and smiles slightly. Her body aches. She's told that as she had requested, she will continue to use this place. She understands. She's aware that if she goes back to that main house, it will be harder to meet her father. Even though he said that she would be doing laundry next time, he tells her to not question his training. She wonders if she should just quit all this training. She is then called as she is asked if she should go now. Kalispell finds her more polite than yesterday. She's told that she has become quite famous in just one day. It seems word has spread to at least 16 of the Orca branch families, causing her to be shocked, thinking if the news from yesterday spread already. She was told that the teachers present yesterday each had loose lips, that one of their father is a flying fish being. She wonders if it is flying fish, then they are known for being chatty. And since it was shocking news, gossip tends to spread faster when it is scandalous. She knows. It sounds like they think her story is scandalous. Layla tells her for some time, it is the kind of story they hope was scandalous. The work of family consists of about 32 branch families centered around her grandmother. Adding the marine vassals makes the number huge. They all support different successors, so it is no surprise they see her as a thorn in their side. She is getting upstairs as Layla tells her that she is not just talented in languages, but also climbing stairs as a 3-year-old without any sign of struggle. She responds yes. She was told that at this rate she could rival not just Bayon and Sort, but even Baluz, the first and second uncle's son, and her eldest brother is called a genius of the century. She asks Layla what does she think. She responds that honestly, her every action is astonishing. Calypso tells her that she might want to brace herself. It is only the beginning. She's shown that over there is also top-level alpha class. She tells Layla that in just one day, The rumor of her being a genius has spread, and now she is entering the top class, finding it really impressive. Layla agrees with her. She asks Layla to go and tell grandmother that she has never seen a genius like her. She wonders if it will cause a stir. Water beings take on the traits and characteristics of their animal counterparts. Thus, whale beings generally avoid conflict, love, and peace and are quite tolerant of other races. However, among these whales there was Ethan, that killer whale. After that, today's lesson is over. They will be playing a block building game. A kid complains that Karen hit her. The teacher tells him to please refrain from disruptive behavior. He responds, "All right, understood." He is the killer whale. He mentions that playing such childish game is ridiculous. Ruga and Ruba are the beluga twins. Karen asks them what are they even looking at, stating that they ain't even worth his fist. They state that there he goes again. As usual, he tells the dolphin twins to keep it down. Right then, it is announced that they have a new student and tells to welcome her with applause. They all wonder if that is the direct descendant, thinking that if it's a young girl, then they say that Lord Pierre's daughter was born. They say that she does not awaken any power when she was born, and she is a useless child. They say she is set to be married off as a dragon's bride, and thinking how could such a useless being be born under Lord Pierre. She is questioned why does not she introduce herself to her classmates. Karen smirks, thinking that she is just somebody and he will make her cry. She tells everyone that it is nice to meet them all. The institution established by the orca teaches the law of the jungle. The girls finds her really pretty and the way she talks. She thinks that she will definitely become the best. She introduces herself and mentions that she hopes this class meets their expectations. The teacher asks if everyone heard her, and asks the students to please welcome her with a warm round of applause, stating that now they're going to play with blocks, and asks everyone to be at their places. Right then Karen appears and asks her if that is her natural hair color. She realizes that he came, and she asks him who is he and how old is he. He introduces himself as Karen, and he's 8 years old. He tells her that she's a direct descendant and very young, finding it adorable. And she ponders that he is a stupid guy who is everywhere. She calls him a kiddo and tells him that if he was less of a mess, he would not be talking. He becomes shocked as she points at him. She tells him that if he is 8 years old, then should not he be moving on to an intermediate institution. She tells him that someone who cannot go to an intermediate institution at that age, what should they call him other than a fool? She states that for reference she's 3 years old and asks him if he is not ashamed to be in the same class as a 3-year-old. He begins to get frustrated and tells her dad does not make sense and she should not be able to speak properly until she's 5. She questions how dare he placed her on the same level as him. He begins to get really angry. He attacks her, but she dodges his attack. She tells him that she guesses she has to teach him some manners first. She grabs him from the collar and smacks his head, causing him to fall down on the ground. Everyone is shocked as she tells him to think about the difference between her and him. She states that she did not want to resort to violence either, but she has no intention of tolerating insults. She scares him, stating that her dad told her not to go around getting beaten up. Everyone is shocked. Even the teacher questions if it is possible to exert such strengths without awakening the power of water. Layla knows that Karen lacks brain, but he's excellent when it comes to strength. To subdue him so easily like that. With this, rumors will start to spread so everyone will know. She finds it very good, just as she had planned. She is aware that she has taken over this class now, and this is the attention given to the boss of the land. The teacher tells everyone to take their seats as it is a great whale needs to study hard. When she is back home, she realizes that today was a fulfilling day. She was told that there won't be any further need to transfer classes and she might stay in the beginner institution for a long time. She suddenly called us. She's greeted. She was told that she saved their class as Karen always picked on them and she destroyed him. She wonders if these are the white beluga dolphins. She knows that white beluga dolphins were known for their intelligent and righteous character, by killer whales' standards at least. She questions what are their names. They introduce themselves and that their name together is Ruga. She tells them that it is nice to meet them and asks them to please look after her in the future, stating that they will be the first she has met who shares a common name with her. She wonders, could it be that her third-grade teacher was also a dolphin? Although he was unlucky, he was a clever fellow. They tell her they are deeply grateful to her, stating that their mum said she should be nice to someone they met for the first time. She tells them that she does not think this is the first time they have met, thinking what is wrong with them all of a sudden. She is then asked if using the stairs hard, and if she's strong enough. She tells them that now. She has never found it hard, but they still pick her up, telling her that they will help her, and they are her friend from today. She got used to it. She thinks that it seems like she has acquired some cute underlings. All the servants are there as she wonders why are they here. She has not seen lots of these faces before. She is told that it is an honor to meet her. She questions what is all this about. He just wants it. According to Calypso's wishes, during her stay in this building, servants were sent from their domain to ensure that she has a more comfortable stay. She wonders if that is why the previous maids looked so dissatisfied. She thinks that now that it is like this, she should handle it step by step. She states that she will use her own personal caretaker and calls out to Miss A. She mentions that she was the only one who was kind to her, so she would go with her, especially when it came to making sure she had meals. She questions do not they do that in the main house, stating that here it is pretty common for the staff not to be given proper meals. She stole that it is because only the strong survives, which she tells him that it is the rule of the Orca family and she knows it very well. She tells him that what enduring scalding hot baths to the point of getting burns is that also a rule that Orca family holds. She states that she does not think neglect and abuse towards children are trials that needs to be overcome. He asks her if these things happened here. She tells him that that's why she's going to tell that about all of this. He asks her if she means Pierre. She tells him that he is very curious about her. He asks her if she will allow it. Then he will conduct a thorough investigation of the staff here. He is aware if they do not act now, it will be a disaster. She tells him all right, stating that other kids might have been affected too. She asks them to make them pay for their sins. She states that she will make sure to tell her dad everything he asks her to take care of it. She grabs onto Missa and tells her now that it has come to this, she should please take care of her. Missa responds that she will do her best to serve her. Missa is out as she thinks about Calypso's words earlier that she does not think neglect and abuse towards children are trials that needs to be overcome, realizing that she said that she was a genius. In her room, she remembers that in her previous life, the whole dolphin family was annihilated. The white dolphin and dolphin beastmen are particularly intelligent, but in the third life, the white dolphin family was wiped out before she could do anything. That culprit was her uncle's son Baron, for the simple reason that they annoyed him. She knows there is no need to gather talents for the war if she wants to hit Grandma hard and disappear. Before she is questioned if she's studying, causing her to be shocked. They tell her that just like the rumors say she is so smart, and that she's reading with such tiny cute hands, she is told that she's just too adorable. She tries to say something as they melt, telling her that her voice is so cute. She thinks that she was worried about the temperament of the staff from the main house, realizing that was an unnecessary worry. She then meets the Beast Man as they tell her they're friends from the same hometown. Introducing themselves as Deed, Bio, Aya, they tell her that she can speak so well, and she's so cute and smart, and even Lord Baloo's and Lord Atlan were not this good. She tells them that she will stop here and introduces Miss A, stating that she is her nanny and asks them to get along well with her. They asked her if she used to work here, Data, her desk. Nice to meet her, and that she should feel free to speak comfortably. She tells them that they all should stay here and she'll go and see her father. She thinks that if she stays here any longer, she won't be able to escape the endless chatter. But still, it is nice that this feels like a home. A few days later, recently life has been really more peaceful than any other time. She finds that really calm as everything is great, except for one thing, which is the laundry, causing her to think if this is really training. He stares at her as he wonders how many times does he has to tell her to understand. He tells her to step on it as she curses him. She knows that the training is getting crazier and wonders, who was it that said that he likes things clean? Realizing that there's years worth of laundry piled up, she asks him how does she realize this. He questions if she still cannot summon water. She tells him, but she took down an 8-year-old. He tells her if she cannot even do that, she is not worthy of the family. She responds that is why she does not really want to talk to a true genius. She asks him to believe it or not, but she was really popular in her class. He states that it looks like the standard of Orca children has dropped quite low recently. She thinks now she is able to understand why her brothers say that their father is hopeless, thinking that he can be the boss, but since she has never failed a training session before, she will do what she is told this time too. She tells him it is hard to step on it properly and questions what should she do. He asks her where is she planning to use her strength. She realizes it is going down and questions if you can see that. She stepped on it. She knows if one applies weight like this, it perfectly compensates for a small body. She is doing it as she tells him that just like he said, she is able to do it and finds him the best. She tells him that his story the best. She continues to do it, thinking that he must know that he is her father. He had received attention all his life, but he was never interested in anything. Then there was a bed that someday he would be caught off guard with someone just like him. She calls out to him and asks him if he came down because she is not finished yet, telling him that she is almost done. She then wonders why the way, even by accident, would not even natural to call him father. She tells him that she did all this and that she's really amazing, right? He states, not really telling her this is not that hard. She questions that she wonders whose daughter is so impressive like this. He asks her whose daughter as she smiles and tells him of course she is her dad's daughter. His tears at her for a while before he looks away and tells her a person who never once showed up when he was rolling around as a 3-year-old. She thinks if he even realizes he was being pushed around. He states that the more he thinks about it, her intelligence is not at all. But she responds, of course she's a student taught directly by him. Tells her that she does not need to talk about him every time she opens her mouth. He states that he is the one who thought her. She again notices his expression, realizing that face seems uninterested in anything in the world. She asks him why does he live alone, questioning if he hates being around people. It is a waste of his water powers. People called him weak, and that he's a vessel that cannot contain such an amazing ability. He states it is easier without bothers some people around. She questions if that is why he looks so indifferent, like someone ready to disappear at any moment. He does, so that is not entirely wrong. She extends her hand and hits him on his leg. He is shocked and calls out to her. She begins to shout at him, questioning how could he say something like that so easily. Realizing that some people have had to live such hard lives, she tells him to not say things like that so easily in front of a bright 3-year-old, questioning if he is crazy. She wonders if he knows that the future he's hoping for is what a time regression like she wants. She tells him this won't do and that he is living life to passively, stating that he needs to learn the beauty of life. He asks her what does she mean. She tells him that he is training her right so they should be business partners. He tells her that her choice of words is really confusing. She asks him to just trust her as she will show him how enjoyable life will be. She begins to step away. He is lost in thoughts, thinking about how he was recently told that he might not know this, but recently his daughter has been going around bragging about how much he loves her. In things that is just a rumor, right? Thinking, what is she hoping to gain by spreading such rumors? She questions what is he doing, telling him that he is so slow and he should hurry up. He is aware that she never makes a mistake with titles. Another day begins as she's questioned if she's all done. Both of them state that they are all done and that the teachers said they can play hard and see when they are done. so they question her if she wants to play with them. She tells them that she does not play such childish games. They find her really cool, thinking that is how his father talks, and that they also wants you to think like that. She tells them that they can use it when they're older as there is a way of speaking that matches their age. She's told that their mom wants to meet her and wants to thank her as Karen used to hit them the most, but does not hurt anymore, and it is all thanks to her. She questions if she should read him some more. They tell her that they will be loyal to her forever, as she tells them it is loyalty and that they do not need to give her anything. But she has a question. She questions if they have ever cooked fish. She knows fish and marine beastmen are clearly different. They think about it as they both raise their hands, stating that they have cooked it and their dad is really good at it.
Two girls tell Calypso to open her mouth. They feed her food, they find her very cute and becomes excited to see her, thinking that she brought her own lunch. One of them asks how can Calypso have such a white and cute face. The other one also is curious about it as she states that she has never met a child as gentle as her. Calypso ponders that they say bluntness is good for friendly communication with blue whales, but there is no need to go this far. But she knows that meals are important for growth. She takes another bite, and with a determined look, she knows that all she needs is growth and dragons. Someone questions that the Dragon Festival will happen this year too, right? The Dragon Festival is a grand festival held in Dragon City by the Imperial family. More precisely, it is a festival that showcases the authority of the Imperial family, to show off that the Duke of Dragon's power is under the watchful eye of the Imperial family. This time, only land animals and beasts men will be invited. They find it a shame as they really want to see it at least once, but however, the underwater beings like mermaids probably would not be invited. Calypso ponders that indeed she would like to see the Dragon Duke at least once. Someone questions if everyone heard that the head of the family will be back soon. Calypso asks if he will come back soon, and just her asking that makes people find her cute. They ask her if she winked just now. She responds that is not the case as someone questions if she could do it one more time. She decides to do it again as three of them are mesmerized by her beauty. The head of the family was away for a while, but as soon as he returns he will announce a family meeting. Calypso tells her that she seems to know the nature of things well. She responds that their water sisters are everywhere. It is a family meeting, and Calypso thinks if there is any way to get her name on that family meeting. She thinks that she cannot suddenly awaken the power of water right now, and it seems better to be introduced. The first thing that comes to her mind is her big brothers. He had told her that she defeated him, so he will follow her as the head of the family, and the other one also asked her to step over him. She wonders which of the three idiots she should meet. She is again told to open her mouth so she can be fed, causing her to be shocked. She mentions that she doesn't like carrots. Calypso is asked if it is because she cooked it poorly. Calypso disagrees. The person apologizes to Calypso, stating that she should not have cooked it like that. Calypso becomes overwhelmed and responds, "That is not the case." Calypso eats it, making them happy. The three of them tells her that they will bring something even more delicious tomorrow, and that they will see her again at lunchtime tomorrow. She thinks about her family meeting, wondering what are those big brothers up to, and that she should be prepared in advance. She is aware that if she goes this way, wasn't there an education institution here? She thinks that they should all be at the education institution right now, and thinks that she should be careful not to get caught as it will be a hassle. She flinches as she hears someone questions. Cannot they hear him? It seems that some kids are bullying someone. One of the kids asks him if he is deaf or what. They ask if that kid is ignoring their words or if he's unable to understand because he is a blockhead. Calypso realizes that kid is Agenor. He is Calypso's third older brother, Agenor Aquaside. He appears to be in a very sad mood as he is questioned if he does not know he should greet them first when they come here. They think that his hair color looks like a rice thief, questioning how did someone like this end up in their class. He asks the kids to not do this to him. They then question each other if they heard the guy's voice, thinking that it was the voice of a goat beast. Calypso ponders. Now she remembers what she heard before. It was Agenor during his high school days. She becomes shocked as she realizes he was the kid who enjoyed being bullied. He pretended to be weak on purpose to provoke bullies. One of the kids grabs him from the collar, questioning why is not he saying anything. It is said that he almost killed those who picked a fight with him, and if he puts his strength into it now, those guys will all die, before she even gets introduced at the family meeting. They cannot make the assault case of her brother's classmate a topic of discussion. realizing that could be a big deal. That person goes on to punch him, questioning if he's ignoring him or if he's not going to answer until the end. Before he is about to punch him, Calypso draws them to wait. Their attention turns towards her as she asks them to stop it. They ask her who is she to interfere, but the other kid asks them to look at her hair. After paying attention to her hair, they realize that she's a direct descendant as hair characteristics visible only within the direct family line. They wonder if she is that Ruber Pierre's daughter. One of them states whatever it is, if she's connected to the direct bloodline, it will be a headache, so they should just go. They push him again and tells him that he should consider himself lucky. Calypso calls them coward. Agnier asks her why she is bothering him. He had told her once that if they had met when they were younger, he would have been a little embarrassed. It is because he did a lot of foolish things back then. There were so many things that were unfair at that time for him. And he happens to regret them a bit, thinking how nice it would have been if he had met her earlier. She asks him why he doesn't come forward. She questions that he is her brother, right? He questions what is she talking about. In her imagination, she finds it weird thinking. Did she not say it with such a cute face? She wonders, is not it a parenting thing that makes one look a little touched? He tells her to not bother him and just leave right now. She then interrupts him and asks him if he is not going to greet her. He questions why does he have to greet her? She tells him that she just saved him earlier. He is dumbfounded as he asks her what. She points at him and tells him that she is aware he was about to kill him just now. She states no matter how direct his bloodline is, that is a reason for expulsion from the family. He states that he could have handled it without getting caught though, and even if she had not intervened, before then he suddenly becomes astonished as she runs to punch him. She punches him on the head as he moans in pain. She thinks that if he wants to come to his senses, then honey balm is the best. She thinks that it will. It is all thanks to her dad's teaching. He is shocked as he asks her what is this strength. She steps towards him and tells him that she's just a cute younger sister who is much stronger than her older brother. He asks her to not make him laugh, stating that it is nothing like that before she grabs him from the collar and asks him if by any chance he has ever done laundry before. Him on the ground and tells him that when it comes to laundry, the more one beats it, the more faster the dirt comes out. He calls out to her as she questions if he is going to keep attacking her. He responds of course before she punches him again. He expresses that it hurts. She tells him to take it easy, stating that even if he uses this water power, he cannot beat her as no matter how many times he attacks the result will be the same. She questions how does he admit it? He questioned how old is she and what is with all this strength, questioning if she took some weird medicine. She wonders if he has not ever heard about his younger sister being born. She tells him that he must be the weak one, that in this life she hopes that her brothers become even stronger so that the original male lead does not go on another rampage as a dragon duke. Realizing that they need someone to stop him in advance. That is why her brothers needs to become strong enough to subdue the original male lead. She thinks that she will personally handle the training. She pays attention to his eyes and thinks that his face looks like he's going to attack her again at any moment. She thinks to capture that proud age in her. Using that method would be good. She calls out to him and commands him to call her younger sister, but he responds that he does not want to. She questions if he does not wish to become stronger. And asks him if the strength that she has is amazing, right? She does seem that if he wants, then she can tell him how to be like her. He grits in frustration before he asks her how does he become that strong and calls her his younger sister. She is aware that the blood of the killer whale family is really flowing into his veins, so she wonders how can she resist telling him how to become stronger. She tells him that she will tell him the method so he should listen carefully, and once she tells him he will do everything as she says, but he refuses to that. She questions if he really means to be like that, then she will just go and teach Atlan instead. It is her second brother before he states no, he will do it and he can do it. She extends her hand towards him and asks him if he's ready to do everything that she says. He handshakes with her and trails her all right after the incident where he behaved like an idiot. During his school days, there was another story hidden behind it. His classmates insulted his mother first. He did not accept that, but they say that no one paid attention to it, and it was heard that he had an accident afterwards. She tells him to listen carefully. She mentions that from now on he should not fight against those guys, and he shouldn't try to kill them as assault. Destroying evidence, anything like that is forbidden, and he should not even think about burying them. She asks if that is the deal, as it is a condition that lasts until he defeats her, and once he defeats her, then he can do whatever he wants. She questions if he is satisfied with that. He finds it great as he promises her. She asks her father, known as her teacher, if he needs a second student by any chance. It looks like her son as she tells him this is her big brother. He questions, "So what?" He tells her she's talking nonsense and he does not need it. He asks her to take him back. She tells him that today she beat him. He asks her if she won. She responds yes, and she worked hard not to get hit. So she hired him as her subordinate, but there's nothing she can use him for, so she asks him if she can just bring him here. She tells him that he is alone, just like her. He thinks about it and states that he cannot seem to stop her, so she can just do whatever she wants. He thinks that he still cannot figure her out. He knows that it is the third son who followed him, and a daughter who pretends to be ignorant even though she actually knows. He wonders what are they thinking. The young masters calls out to her. They tell her that they have prepared food to have lunch with her and that they should eat together. She agrees with them. She notices that both of them are full of energy all the time. She looks at all the food and wonders if 3 kids can eat all this. They tell her that their dad says that they should invite her to their house, stating that is right, and he said that he will also prepare a lot of delicious food. She tells them all right, as after a while she is given what she asked for last time. She tells them that her brother said he asked Dad himself. She finds it really great and thanks him. He realizes that his dad is home and tells her that she can just go home safely now. This is her dad and realizes that he looks just like the twins. It is White Dolphin family, Beast Man, Orca family. In her previous life, she did not have any relationship with them because they were gone missing before she became a householder. Originally, the place of the Orca family is a tradition that leads to the matriarchy, but Ocula did not give birth to a daughter. She stated that she will choose the next son among her grandchildren, and as long as he's really good at it, it does not matter if he is a grandson. It was unprecedentedly good news for the grandchildren who did not even stand a chance. One of the most likely next family owners in this situation is the eldest son of his uncle. Vayan, he was powerful, but his temple was cruel, and several innocent white dolphins and their families were sacrificed. She is beginning to remember what kind of bloody winds Vayan brought to the Beluga family. She ends up heading into someone as he tells her to walk properly. She tells him that if he is going to pick a fight like that, and he should not do it at all. She states that it does not look good and asks him if he thinks that she will jump in like him. He gets really angry at her, telling her that he has always walked like this. She tells him that keeping her head held high and her neck has always been straight and upright. He becomes really angry at her and questions why does not she try and show off her best skills, as it won't be long before she gets kicked out. She questions what is she talking about and asks him if he has a reason to kick her out. He tells her that you told her to be Vayan's subordinate, stating that she will regret touching his subordinate. She remembers they are the one who said that they are Vayan's subordinate. She tells him that he can then quickly go and kick her out, stating that she is also curious as to how she will be kicked out. He questions if she thinks that he is joking. He clenches his fist and tells her that he's being serious. She asks him who said that he's joking. She tells him to go and tell Vayan and come back, stating that he should hurry up and run away and then go and report to Bayan. He becomes really angry. He grabs the sword from nearby and attacks her. She gets to his side before he shouts and tells her he will not let it slide. She's aware that she does not want to fight for this matter. Also aware that if she gets beaten she will get hurt and she hates being hurt. She jumps high and thinks that her dad said not to be silent and just get beaten. She hits him on the head as he falls down on the ground. She tells him that was dangerous. The head of the education institution picks up the sword by her powers and questions what is happening. She tells Karen that decorative swords are not meant to be used as weapons. Becomes shocked as she tells him that they will discuss the rest in the disciplinary room. Even after the hierarchy of strength is important. Using weapons to cause bloodshed rather than testing strength and ability limits is unacceptable. He goes away as Calypso thanks her. She tells Calypso that there is no need to thank her. As the head of the education institution, it was the right thing to do. Calypso tells her that but she is supposed to remain neutral. She responds that she has to be fair. Calypso smiles and thanks again for helping. She looks at Calypso for a while before she mentions that it feels like she's talking to the top student of a secondary institution. Calypso asks so if she needs an explanation, and if she should go to the disciplinary room too, or write statements or interviews. Calypso is told that they heard everything echoing through the hallways, so there's no reason for her to go to the disciplinary room. Besides, he asked him to take good care of her, so this is surprising. This is the first time. Calypso questions about he. She is then shocked as she is told that it is her father, Mr. Pierre. It is the nighttime as Calypso roams around panicking, and she wonders what should she do. She is aware that she owes Mr. Pierre debt, and she's also one of his followers. She has been boasting about him everywhere. To think that Lyle was his subordinate too. She has no idea if this makes even sense. She wonders what kind of Pierre awaits beyond this. She also thinks if he has had fun deceiving her all this time, and how far did he think he could deceive her? She is aware that she has no right to complain if he turns hostile. Roughly sensing and pretending not to know, maybe this time to stop playing along, but she thinks that she should meet him first. She hopes that he is not too angry. Meanwhile, he is thinking about her words that if he needs a second discipline by any chance. He knows from the beginning that his daughter was telling shallow lies, and at this point it felt more like betrayal. She told him that Agenor is her brother. At that moment, his willingness to play along vanished. He considered ending this master-discipline relationship. He was about to before she became excited, that is, when he couldn't, as he thought he could always end this relationship, which he took on out of mere curiosity. But for the first time, he did not want to let it go. She goes to him and stands in front of him. They both wonder why is this so awkward. She is crying internally. He notices something on her hand and asks her what is that. She tells him that it is something she brought for him. She shows it to him and asks him if he is curious and if he is excited. He states that he is not really excited or curious. She wonders that she did not know how to start, but if he is reacting like usual, then it must be ok, right? It does not seem like he is mad, and she does not know the reason, but it looks like he's not ready to bring it up yet. She waits and thinks. Does that mean she has to start the conversation? She's aware that, as planned, it is a recipe for rugaruba. She asks him to wait a moment. She is going to make him an amazing dish today. He questions if it is cooking. After some time, he is questioned if he has been waiting long, haven't he? She tells him that it is almost done. She presents the dish to him and states that she made a dish considering his nutritional balance, and the master's house cook interfere a little, but she does seem to look forward to it. She shows him that, as it turns out, look, really non-edible. He tells her that she considered nutrition. She states that she got a very special recipe and even covered the 3 major nutrients. She expresses that she felt bad for what happened, and it is also as an apology for suddenly asking him to take her as second discipline and for bringing her brother along. She tells him that it was very pushy of her, so she's sorry about it. He stares at her for a while, thinking of when she first approached him. Looking at the sad expression on her face, he asks her to explain the dish. She asks him what does he mean as he tells her that if she serves a dish, she should explain it. She tells him that for the recipe, the rugaruba of the beluga family, then continues to explain to him, stating that is how it is done. He tells her that he does not like it. After doing that, he does not take on just any discipline. She apologizes to him. He asks her to not make the same mistake again as she assures him that she won't. She wonders if she can ask him now and calls out to him. She states that something strange happened at the education institution today. She states that her father ordered Layla to protect her, asking what does he mean by giving her an order. He asks her, so what does she mean about it? She questions what does he think. She knows that even though he is already aware of it, she has to pretend that she does not know, and she has to ask why he is doing it. Because she saw the world end because of the Dragon Duke she did not care about. She hates uncertainties now. He questions why is she asking him, as he is not even her father. This causes her to be shocked as she clenches her face. She wonders that is how it is, and thinks where did he figure out she was lying? And why did he help her? For now she decides to just go along with it to keep things natural. She tells him that he is around the same age as her father, so she was just curious. She thought he might understand his feelings since they are both adults. She thinks that if he already saw through her act, and why did he not say anything? He responds that not all adults are the same. She's quite down. She knows that he just don't know and want to talk about it, and she will not listen because it is unfair. He then puts his fork down and asks her, did not he say that he cares about and loves her? She questions why did it not her father say it himself that he cares about and loves her very much? He states then that must be the answer. She realizes that the scar on her hand is gone. She responds that must be it. Meanwhile, Agenor is shocked seeing her. He wonders, what on earth is this scene? The master tells her to put more strength in her legs as she counts 335. Her brother is shocked as he wonders how much does that weigh? He wonders about lifting rocks over 300 times at 3 years old. This causes him to be really shocked. Now he understands that she is using the power of water as her strength. She asks the master that he is not really going to throw that as he tells her that he is going to do that as this is also training. But she tells him it is literally killing her. Her brother is sure that it was inevitable that he would do. Pierre's third son Agenor, he was a genius, recognized for his abilities since childhood. But it was not enough. He wondered about his limits, and he wanted to compete with the best. But as his strength became known, no one would challenge him. So he changed his approach. He deliberately provoked bullying and defeated the strong ones one by one. That was his pleasure. Until one day his younger sister appeared before him, and moreover, his sister turned out to be calling their father master. He does not know what happened, but it was true that their father was entertaining the sister. There was no doubt. He knows she is his true savior. Although his creed is destroy the strong, if she's so strong that she cannot be broken, he thinks that he should respect and serve her, and he must do as he is told. He cannot handle this crazy training. He's quick to self-reflect. The master tells him that it is his turn next. So what is he doing? He asks him to please let him lift a smaller rock than her, as he calls his father master. Both of them are dumbfounded. His father asked him if he has no pride that he is going to lift a small rock. He responds that indeed he does not have any pride. He states that he will become stronger within his limits. He knows what is wrong with calling their father master. He will just do it, as it will mean that his sister might grant his request. She is exhausted from the training and questions if it is over now. Her training is up as she realizes that she can finally rest. She notices a glass of water. He uses his magic abilities and gives it to her, telling her that she worked hard. She wonders what is wrong with him, thinking if he has gone crazy. She pays attention to his eyes were sparkling for her. This causes her to wonder what is wrong with his eyes. He tells her it is really cool, amazing, and incredible. She responds, "All right." He states that seeing her reminded him of something, and questions if she could grant him one request. She decides to hear it. He tells her that he has 2 older brothers, and the second brother's name is Atlan. She responds that she knows. He states he is the king. She should take care of his second brother too. She is shocked as he knows that the unlucky hot-tempered second brother, it is no match for her. He decides that he won't be the only one who suffer. He smiles and beams with happiness, telling her to make sure he cannot recover. She wonders if there was bad blood between Agener and Alton. In some ways, they have a similar temperament to Bayon. The difference is that Atlan has a mischievous streak. Since they both hate losing, they probably were not close. In the previous life, they were perfect comrades, though not an ordinary friendship. It was filled with camaraderie, especially in moments of crisis. They would tell each other to not get hurt, and there was enough love to sacrifice one's own life. The present and the second life cannot be the same. She knows that there won't be a chance to meet Atlan right away, and things that just file away Agener's crazy talk. The young masters asks her what is she doing. She thinks about it and questions that they are 2 siblings as well. Spawned. Yes, they are. She asks them if they get along well. They are shocked and reminds her that they do not get along well. One mentions that he is always insisting that he is the elder brother. The other asks him if he got the wrong idea and that he will ask Mom. She tells both of them to calm down and that she has got it. They tell her that Karen has not shown up either. She knows it has already been several days since he has been absent. She finds that atmosphere strange. With him not coming, it feels like things are split into 2 camps. She wonders what criteria divided them. Meanwhile, Layla then appears and asks her if she's leaving now. She responds that yes, she is, and asks her if she needs anything from her. Layla asks her to come closer for a moment. She questions if she is aware that the family council meeting is about to happen. She responds yes, she is, and she will be attending as the head candidate. She was told that she should be careful as prospective candidates who are nominated so far, like her, often disappear just before the family council. She tells him that she will be fine and thanks her for her concern. She states that her dad will protect her and Layla is also there. Layla responds, "That is true, but she should not let her guard down as there are too many gaps in this large family." Calypso mentions that she will keep that in mind, thinking that her dad will not protect her and she needs to prepare herself mentally before the family council. She is also worried about the split atmosphere. Her brother tells her that is probably because of different successors to follow. She asks him why is he here. He is born so that they are going to see Master together. She questions if he has to come with her. He asks her if she is going every day as he was surprised when she came down riding a horse, and the questions if she has already made followers. He asks her how many followers does she have. He is not the first one. She tells him that if they bother her, they will die by her hand. Stating that he wants to try, she grabs him from the collar and thinks where is his conscience. She tells him that if they follow the hares, it would be the Baron and Sor family hares. He responds that she's correct and the atmosphere is similar even in the intermediate institution. He asked her how is she going to handle the family council. She responds that it is her first time participating. He tells her to not worry as he will introduce her. She knows it would not be bad if he introduces her, as the best would be her dad doing it. But that is not possible. He asks her to be careful, as before the family meeting all sorts of people set up, and he has even faced off with his eldest and second eldest brothers, and he never thought about her. He questions if he will spoil her, but tells her to use it wisely. She smiles and asks him to not crawl up. Several days later, she knows it was peaceful for a few days. She receives a letter to quietly follow to the backyard, and if she does not show up, he will threaten the twins that she cares about. She finds it a very rustic line, like a third-rate villain thinking how about going to see a crowd face aunts. She goes there. It's Karen as he mentions that he is really here. Atlan questions if she is a dog, stating there is not much to see anyway. He curses Calypso so as Calypso becomes angry and questions if he's accusing her of something pretty, stating that his brain is less useful than a jellyfish. He mentions that indeed just hearing rumors makes him curious. He points at Calypso and tells her that she does know how to talk and that Grandma would not take an interest in her for no reason. She grabbed his hand, and does seem that if it were just words, would the Grandma have taken an interest. She calls him an idiot and asks him to release the twins. She states that she will hold him fully responsible. He finds it amusing, stating that it seems like Pierre's daughter isn't just talk. She tells him yes indeed, her dad is the famous Pierre Aquasiatel. He asks her to work. Is she just a woman who just trusts her dad? She tells him no, she inherited his talents the most, and he will remember that clearly. She calls out to Ruga and tells them to shout right now. Atlan mentions what a trick as he looks at them. Killer whales are undoubtedly strong as individuals. Every power has its own harmony. Every marine animal evolved with its own weapon. Welga aquatic human Rugaruba's weapon is screaming. Everyone begins to state that their ears hurt. It is an ultrasonic scream, but feels like it is tearing one's ears apart. She does Agenor to save the twins as he asks her to leave it to him. Atlan notices him before Calypso grabs him from the collar and asks him where is he looking when his appointment is here. She punches him. He is shocked for a moment before he calls her an insignificant worm-like thing. She asks him how does he feel like being attacked by such insignificant thing. She commands Agenor that no matter what happens, he should protect the twins. She's asked if she needs help before. She questions if he knows who she is. She calls out to the other kids telling them what are they doing? Falling. She calls them coward and points them to come after her. Agenor wonders if he can call this a battlefield. Direct fights between orcas are usually fierce, because they use the power of water. But this almost feels like a dog fight. Atlan asks to suppress it, questioning if they cannot knock her down. He tells them to use the power of water, thinking that unawakened state she is at this level. It is better than the eldest brother. She continues to beat everyone up. Atlan tells them that if they cannot beat her up, then they need to take the twins hostage again. Agenor then sees a man telling him to ignore him. He is then approached, as he is told that he rushed here as soon as he received his contact. But he questions, what on earth is this situation? It is the father of Ruga. Ruba has tears in his eyes as he tells his father that Ruga is not opening his eyes. Agenor asks him to hold on a moment for the explanation. It seems like it is almost over for the young lady too, and they are not far from the building since they caused this much disturbance by now. Layla appears asking everyone to stop. She is asked to explain the situation to everyone after she is done tweeted. Calypso asks her if she can have the time to calm down. She drinks a cup of tea as she tells Layla that she will tell her beforehand their side was the first to be attacked. That white dolphin, human twins were attacked, and asks Layla if she believes it, that they are just kids, and they're barely 7 years old, and their orcas are protecting the children. And she knows best that there's no interest in these facts. But it is not just about whales. It is about combat-related whales, and there are rules that must be followed in this educational institution. She slammed her fist on a table and states that advanced institution students must not harm a student at a beginner institution. It is an old rule and no one cares. What if one does not get caught? It is okay, and it is a rule that is declared in the name of the ancestors' family of the orca. It is not a matter to be taken lightly. Therefore she, Calypso, officially requests for a disciplinary committee. But she knows that Bayon believes in her ability and status, and though it could quietly pass, Grandma hates rule violations more than violence, and she does not know her personality, so that shouldn't just rush against a time regressor. But she told us she wishes the highest disciplinary committee will be held in. Since she's related, it is essential for her to participate. She knows that won't be difficult. What she is told is that a guardian must accompany her to the highest disciplinary committee. causing her to be shocked, as in other words, even if she is going to come, she must bring her father with her, causing her to be strong. Calypso ponders that she only planned for the disciplinary committee to convene. She never expected that they would ask to bring her parents to come up here. She wonders what should she say. That she knocked Bayan down. She does not know if he would like to attend a disciplinary committee as her father, wondering what if he begins to insist that he is not her father. This causes her to be really troubled. A person steps towards her and tells her that he has been waiting. He introduces himself as Roba Beluga. Roba Veluga is the father of Ruba and Ruga, from the White Dolphin family. He tells her that he has come to express his gratitude. She asks about Ruba and Ruga. He informs her that his wife, the Veluga matriarch, took them away. He thanks her once again, and tells her that if she had not informed him beforehand, he might not have arrived on time. She mentions that she just did what she had to do. Besides, Ruga and Ruba were involved in her personal affairs, so she apologizes on behalf of those stupid whales. Whales think that power solves everything. They ignore or disregard ethics, morality, and laws. She tells him that she is also responsible for involving Ruga and Ruba in such wrongdoing. She bows and apologizes to him. He tells her that it is hard to expect kindness from whales, as she said they are beings far from morality. He tells her, but seeing her, his thoughts change as he will accept an apology to Bayan for the violence. She ponders that it is a thought everyone has at least once, but it is difficult to actually say. Seeing Suman speak so frankly is always quite satisfying. Veluga are truly pitiable beings. Bayan threatened them to follow him, but they refused and were all killed. Among them, there was someone named Roba. There must have been an exceptional warrior. Even though he was a beluga whale, he fought well. She remembers that they were the kind who would not get along with Bayan no matter what. She thanks him and tells him that she will visit Ruga and Ruba soon. He smiles and tells her that the children will be very happy. Time passes as people question if they heard the rumor regarding the lady. They ask if it is a rumor that she fought Bayan and won. They heard that all the members of Bayan's faction were defeated. From elementary to advanced institutions, the rumors spread quickly about the young lady who defeated Bayan. They knew that it cannot be true, as how could a young lady from an elementary institution defeat him? And on top of that, they say she has not even awakened her water power. So to summarize, the lady and Bayan had a showdown. The lady overwhelmingly won. That is the gist of it. One of them asks the other one what does he think of it. With the other one seems uninterested and asks him if he wishes to die. It is Atlan, as he tells him that she's his younger sister. Calypso, second brother, Atlan Aquasiatal. He tells him to not make him laugh as he does not have a younger sister, also telling him to stop waking him up again or he will really kill him. As he grabs him from the collar, he responds that he gets it, thinking that he has such a temperamental head. People ask about the rumor regarding the lady. It is the second eldest brother of Calypso, Ballista Quasiatal. He mentions that if she committed a sin, she should be punished. The girls ask him to please explain a little more. He makes it clear that grandmother dislikes breaking rules the most. The real problem is not Bayan. Meanwhile, Calypso seems very happy as she mentions that she won the fight. She tells her master that it is all thanks to the excellent teaching from him. Because of that, she was able to achieve victory. She ponders that to suffer like this after just one fight. Say raising a child is exhausting after all. She notices something and looks at him glaring at her, thinking what is going on. It seems like she needs to bring up the topic of attending the disciplinary committee. He says the word victory and tells her it is called victory when one conquers it without getting hurt. She asks him what is he talking about and how does he manage to win without getting hurt every time. He reminds her that he has always won without getting hurt. She tells him it is because he is the master and she has not even fully awakened yet. He mentions that since the moment she recognized him as her master, did not she agree to follow his words like law? She tells him that is true. He tells her that victory covered in wounds cannot be called a victory. It is a lack of ability. She thinks that he should at least compliment her before criticizing, wondering if he thinks it is easy to win fights at this age. She wonders how can he not give her a single compliment. She's putting in more effort than anyone else and in her past life, and now she was striving desperately. She clenches her fist and turns around. He asks her where is she going. She tells him she does not know and informs him that she will leave now. Tears begins to fall from her eyes as she thinks if it were her dad, he would never have done this. She misses her previous dad. As she is walking ahead, the power of water begins to activate. He tells her that her body is a weapon. She turns around and questions, so what? He mentions that if she does not take care properly of a weapon, then it will break or rust, and her body is the same, causing her to think about it. He tells her that as her master he is reprimanding her for neglecting her weapon. A well-maintained weapon can be used for a lifetime. He is the one who failed in forging that weapon. She thinks about it, a mighty force that everyone revered, yet unfortunate killer whale afflicted with an incurable disease. She wonders if this person thinks that their life is a failure. Until the day Pierre closed his eyes, there was not a single day he was not in the spotlight. Unable to overcome his frail body, he lived in unwanted attention until his death. If he found in her, who possesses both great strength and body, the healthy self he could have been, he extends his hand towards her and takes off the bandage from her face. She asks him if he means to say that it is her fault that she got her, questioning if this kind of victory is wrong. She wonders how can she achieve victory as gracefully as him if she does not struggle. She cannot even obtain the power of water that he so easily grasped. He tells her that even if he gives her the answer, it seems like a face that won't listen. He mentions that the relationship between master and discipline inevitably involves separation. He asks her, did not she want him to keep his distance and remain detached? She is aware that his voice sounds bitter, wondering if she's imagining it. She steps closer to him and grabs him from the corner, questioning if he was worried about her. He asks her that her dad cherished and loved her very much right then. What would he say at a moment like this? She tells him that he would scold her for making him worry so much, and then he would definitely hug her tight, and finally he would say that he loves her. She questions, so can he just repeat after her once? That he was worried. He looks at her for a while before he places his hand on her head. He repeats it, telling her that he was worried, and that she came all the way here despite limping. She knows that she understands now. They are having sweets as Agenor asks her if they are going to attend together. She tells him yes, that is how it turned out. She thinks that she was too busy throwing a tantrum that day, so she could not even bring up the topic of sending the parents back, and no matter how much she thinks about it, she cannot find a way to call that without proper support. Agenor asks her if it will be okay. She tells him that the highest ranks require parents to attend. They were managed somehow, just both of them. She knows it is awkward to suddenly make such a request to the master. He asks her, cannot they just tell father everything this time? But she tells him no, it is not the time yet. She knows that until he sees the Duke's workshop she wants to live with Pierre just like now. He mentions that he is not worried. His younger sister must have everything figured out. He also tells her that he did not know that the Supreme Disciplinary Committee and the Family Council meeting would be held on the same day. She tells him that is right. With all the rumors she has made, just attending would have attracted attention. She wanted to see the expression on Grandma's face who ignored her. Since Bayon won't be attending either, this should settle it. She knows that without Agenor about dealing with Bayon's gang would have been extremely difficult. She calls out to him and tells him that he helped her without asking why. She thanks him, but he asks her what is she talking about, mentioning that it was fun. It was his first time fighting while protecting someone. She asks him really and tells him to look forward to it as there will be plenty ahead. He asks her if that is what his younger sister says, causing her to question. If this is not like some kind of religion. The maid arrives as she sees that Confucius was here, thinking that they got along. Both of them finds Agenor very handsome, thinking that they really look so much alike. He calls out to Calypso, telling her that they need to talk about the disciplinary committee meeting tomorrow. She was hiding as she mentions that the Herring sisters can leave now. Both of them leave as Calypso tells Agenor that tomorrow he should follow exactly what she says. He listens to her carefully, mentioning that he got it and he will do as she says. But he asks her if she is sure that it is okay not to call father. She asks him to trust her, mentioning that they can handle this on their own. He trusts his younger sister completely, but still cannot think about it. Stay on the day of the Supreme Council. She steps out of the carriage. Already she ponders. It is the start of the Supreme Council. She thinks that these clothes on her feels awkward. She was told that she needs a suit and that she should leave it to them. She ponders that even if she says it is not that kind of occasion, she has to listen. But still she can feel the sincerity and knows it is not bad. She was told that clothes are like words, they are weapons. She remembers that even her father had told her that her body is a weapon. She thinks about it. She then told to go this way. As she then steps ahead, she's glad they did not bring up the topic of summoning parents first. Pierre also wanted to maintain the priestly relationship drama. She tells herself that she can do it as she is used to handling things on her own. Everyone looks at her stating so she is Calypso, finding her very cute. They state that fighting over something so trivial like that, it must be because of Pierre's blood overflowing. There are fewer people due to overlapping with the family council. Most seem to have come to see her. It is strange that the dates coincide, as Layla would not handle things like this. She is then greeted and told that she looks different today than usual. She asks do not she look pretty, as the maids worked hard. She's told that she can sit next to Master Agener. She is aware that Pierre certainly stands out in appearance, but she is dazzling in a different way. Thinking, could it be the influence of her mother? They both sit together as people. Question was not, it seemed, that Agener's relationship with his siblings is bad. It seems that the idea that Pierre's children only face each other when they fight was false. Calypso notices that Bayon is here too. She is aware that, as expected, the grandfather has not come. She notices that Bayon is staring at her. She shows him the middle finger, questioning where is he looking. She wonders that her grandfather must be busy, taking care of Grandma's affair at the family council. It seems that grandmother has come in his place. She finds it awkward, as the real power is on that side from grandfather's perspective, thinking that it is better to have a capable indirect descendant than an incompetent direct one. Everyone is told to be quiet, as they will now begin the Supreme Disciplinary Committee meeting. Regardless of rank or status, she asks that they approach this meeting with honesty, swearing by the name of the sea to speak on the truth. First, it is Mr. Baron who is the perpetrator in this matter. He swears by the sea dot, and then it is time for Miss Calypso and Miss Agener, who are the victims in this matter. They both also swear by the sea. The grandfather appears all of a sudden, asking them to wait a moment. He mentions that as the chairperson of this disciplinary committee, he has a proposal. He is the vice chair of the intermediate agency, head of the Beangori family. He mentions that this meeting is convened to discuss the conduct of a minor student. Therefore, it is understood that guardians should have been notified in advance. Course chilling. Why are there no guardians with Calypso and Agener? She realizes that he has finally arrived and wonders if Layla would discreetly overlook it. She thinks that seeing that Dad did not come, they probably intended to offer their own help. And a staunch advocate of principles, she states that she does not have a guardian. Guardians are laws necessary for immature individuals, mentioning that there is no reason to be concerned about immaturity for her and her brother Agener. Therefore, they will be their own advocates. They are asked if there is a reason why Pierre did not come. Questioning, is not this against the law, or, if it is that he is unwell? Layla mentions if that is the case, then Calypso and Agener cannot proceed without guardians. The grandfather shouts that even the law must abide by the law. They cannot conduct the meeting with someone who does not even adhere to basic rules. Asking Calypso to summon a guardian immediately. She realizes that Grandpa's friend is not helping at all. Agener becomes worried, questioning what should they do. Bayon begins to laugh at them and asks should they just go ahead, as she says she does not have a dad, so what can they do about it? Everyone begins to laugh, mentioning that he is correct and they should quickly start the family meeting or the shop. They are told to be quiet, again reminded that they are without guardians. Calypso tells herself to stay calm, as they anticipated such variables. Layla mentions that this meeting is expected to be cancelled. She asks herself to think carefully, to think of a way to turn the situation around. Before then, someone states that the law is the law. Calypso turns around as someone steps in, mentioning that naturally it must be obeyed, and the guardians of his son and daughter is now present here. It is their father. Calypso is shocked, thinking, what is that? She has no idea what is going on. She realizes that it is the first time she has been this panicked after regressing to the fourth life. Also being aware this is definitely something again Agener did not anticipate. She does not know how or why he is here, but if she gets flustered it will look strange. Besides, there are too many rumors to deny it. In that case, she smiles and runs towards him, calling him her dad. She wishes for him to please answer as she jumps at him and hugs him tightly. He apologizes to her for being late. She questions if he is okay. She thought he was not going to make it. She wishes for him to say something and agree with her. Thinking, or is it more okay to be silent? He tells her that he is feeling better and apologizes for making her worry. He asks Layla if she needs to confirm his attendance separately. She tells him that is not the case, and they have confirmed his attendance. Grandfather also greets him, mentioning that it has been a while and they thought he was not coming. Her father stares that his daughter was too worried to inform him of the time, and because of that he was a bit late. Calypso is shocked, thinking that he can even talk normally like this. Bayon becomes angry, stating that it does not count as he did not show up on time. Layla asks Baron to refrain from unnecessary disturbances, as the chairmen all have acknowledged it. questions if they think that he will just stand by and watch he begins to use his powers before he's told to remain calm, questioning. Did not the chairman say that they have acknowledged it? He's really angry, but he tries to control himself. Calypso is aware that acting like that won't do him any good. His punishment is already certain, questioning. Does not he realize this is just to decide the details and severity of the punishment? If he self-destructs, it is better for them anyway. Besides, if he had used his strength, she could have seen him lying on the floor, finding it a shame. The master is told to take a seat. He looks at her and smiles. She wonders if he just openly mocked her. Everyone is told to be quiet, stating that there was a brief disturbance and they will now resume the agenda. The meeting is supposed to start, but before anything, a person steps in stating that there is an order from the head of the family. It is that the highest disciplinary committee is to immediately halt this meeting and relocate the hall of trials. Therefore, this disciplinary committee will resume under the attendance of the head of the family. Within the family meeting, Calypso begins to wonder what she finds it ridiculous, thinking that if they go to the meeting, that means that Bayon will have the advantage in the disciplinary committee held at the educational institution. The chairman's authority is very significant. Therefore, Bayon's punishment is currently certain. But if they move to the family meeting, there are many forces favorable to Bayon. If they move to a location favorable to him, not only will there be no fair judgment, but he might not be punished at all. Agener asks her what should they do. She responds, "What can they do? There is nothing in their hands." He knows grandmother's orders are absolute. She really wanted to see Bayon getting the punishment. Her father tells her that it is all right. She asks him what does he mean, that it is all right. He mentions everything that she's taking right now, and there is no need to force herself to use formal speech. She is not even used to it. She tells him all right, she got it. To her, it feels like they're like celebrities as everyone is glancing over and staring. She asks her dad if she cannot just walk on her own. He questions with those legs of hers. When would she ever get there? She thinks that he leaves her speechless, but finds it good for her if rumors spread like this. But she wonders, what does he gain by doing this? Hedgener asks her if she has ever been to a hall of trials. She tells him no, she hasn't. The truth is that she has. She calls him an idiot. He states that the family meeting traditionally rotates between the 3 largest halls, and the hall of trials is one of them, and they are right now in front of it. The hall of trials had 2 meanings. One was that its doors were bright blue, just like its name. The other was that it was a place where trials occurred. Throughout Orca history, major upheavals started from here, which is why it got its name. She knows that she is coming back to this place again. Their attendance is acknowledged. They were shocked to see his lord, stating that it is their first time seeing him in person. The grandmother questions who do they have here. She is the head of the Orca family, Ocula Aquasiadel. She questions, is not this her son, whom she thought was dead? He greets her. She asks him why does not he go die somewhere, questioning why is he still alive. The atmosphere is quiet for some time before that Calypso greets her. She tells her grandmother that she has become even younger since the last time she saw her. The grandmother notices her too, telling her that she learned flattery already, and that she is better than her shameless father. Calypso asks her that if he saw that her grandmother loves flattery, so he should learn from her. It's pretty motivated as she tells him that it is all right, and he can start learning from now on. She ponders. That is not the problem. His father smirks. He tells her it is an interesting advice, and that he will keep that in mind. She seems pretty stunned, thinking that he could smile like that. Everyone notices his smile. They all think that, as the rumors say, he really treasures the youngest princess. His eldest brother mentions that it would be best to resume the delayed meeting. He is Roisin Aquasiadel. He mentions that it is nice to see his younger brother after a long time, but it is not enough to interrupt the meeting. The people can notice that the Lord is ignoring his elder brother. The grandmother asks Rhodson how dare he interrupted her. He apologizes to his mother, stating that it was not his intention. Calypso sees that he tried to say something, but got shut down. She wonders where are their seats. Right then, the maid advises them to sit. She wonders why it's Lord behind them. It is too far from the central head seat. Finding it blatantly disrespectful, she asks her dad what should they do. They are being totally disrespected right now. She notices that it is too far and he probably cannot even hear her. She calls out to him, questioning if he's listening. She tells him that this is not the time to play dumb. He mentions that she looks like a fish grasping for air. She becomes frustrated and tells him that this is not the time for jokes either. He assures her that she does not need to worry about not being heard, as her voice would definitely be heard. They are here to attend the disciplinary committee, not the family meeting. He He tells her to not forget the purpose and essence of why they are here. The notice that Bellis is here too. He calls out to his grandmother and mentions that there must be a reason why grandmother proposed a new agenda for this meeting. Everyone here has gathered to her grandmother's voice. He asks her to please share her intentions with them. She tells him that his tongue is as smooth as every today. He responds that she flatters him. She asks him to go over there and sit down. Calypso knows that he's the opportunist. Brother grandmother mentions that she heard there's something interesting happened at her education institution, questioning if that is true. Those were involved. They should come forward. Calypso Agener and Bayan step forward. She mentions that they should not hear what they cause a disturbance at the esteemed institution that she is managing. Bayan asks her that she should let him speak first. He questions first of all, what does she mean by disturbance, as it was just a minor incident. It was so insignificant that it is not even worth the head of the family's concern, mentioning that for all cost, life is a battle and a war, and every moment is a struggle. But to convene the highest disciplinary committee over a mere trial scuffle, this undermines the dignity of the strongest marine beast man, the Orcas. Calypso wonders if he even realizes that the one he fought with is a 3-year-old. She decides to see how far this goes. The grandmother questions if he means to say that it is an exaggerated rumor, and in reality, it was just a simple accident. He mentions that he immediately wanted to see his cousin, who has been the subject of money rumors recently, so he called her out quietly, just to say hello. Yeah, he did that. After kidnapping Ruga and Ruba, then threatening them, he states that as soon as Calypso saw him, she suddenly insulted his father. Mentioning that perhaps she wanted to boast that she is the daughter of the strongest Orca, Calypso knows that he started the insults, and now he dares to attack her father. She thinks that only she gets to leverage her dad's name. He continues, mentioning that furthermore, unlike his cunning cousin, he has a witness to back up his testimony. This causes Calypso to be shocked. The gate mentions that they were just trying to assist Lord Bayan, that is all they were doing, but they were met with unprovoked violence. He questions if she's not the daughter of Lord, mentioning that it was an unwinnable fight from the start. Calypso ponders that she got a bit nervous when 2 of them came in, but she cannot believe that those 2 are the witnesses. She knows that they are bragging about getting beaten by a 3-year-old. The other kid also agrees, stating that she was the one who insulted Bayan first, and that he is absolutely right. Bayan mentions that, as they can see, there are no lies in the witnesses' testimonies. The one questions the other if his acting was okay. The other one mentions that he was so nervous in front of the head of the family. Calypso calls them an idiot, knowing that she can hear them, thinking what do they think of her. The grandmother mentions so in conclusion he means to say that he is not guilty. He mentions that there must be a profound reason grandmother brought this trivial disciplinary matter to the family meeting. So he will use this opportunity to expose the truth as he looks at Calypso, a truth about his cousin. She wonders what kind of fresh nonsense is this? He questions what is the point of being the great lord's daughter when she lacks the strength and dignity to match. Considering how easily she lies and brags, her education must have been lacking. She knows that on the other hand, he insults so naturally as if it is breathing. She thinks that it is getting boring now. She wonders when should she start her counterattack. The grandmother questions, so if the point is that one poorly educated brat has disturbed the discipline of her family. He responds yes, that is exactly the point. The grandmother looks at Calypso, stating that she is an insignificant creature that was not even acknowledged. She dared to challenge one of her successors, not knowing their place and acting recklessly. She uses her powers and grabs Calypso. Calypso begins to tremble, realizing this is the power of the current head of the family. She tells herself to endure it, as this is a battle of wills. She realizes that she is unable to breathe right, then she becomes shocked and understands that the water power grandmother used has lifted. She wonders if it is covered by an even greater power. The Lord tells the grandmother that the child is only 3 years old. She responds that he should not make a fuss, as if she cannot endure this. It is a disgrace to their family. She asks him how did he even raise her, not teaching the basics that are the foundation of the Orca society. Letting someone weak act out without knowing her place. Calypso begins to get really frustrated, calling her and the old hag as she nearly killed her, and now she is saying this. The grandmother asks him if he taught her, and raised her himself. Calypso thinks that if her dad says he did not raise her and outright denies her existence, then what will happen to her? The lies that she has been spreading about her dad loving and caring for her will all be exposed. She begins to get scared, wishing for it to not be the case. He states that he raised her entirely by his rules. She becomes shocked thinking about it. He also mentions that he taught her to always win in a fight. He mentions that she acted exactly as he instructed, not leaving out a single detail. The grandmother finds it unbelievable, stating that to think she would live to see how he is defending someone else, causing her mood to be ruined. He mentions that they should hear the full story again directly from his daughter. He questions, is not that the chair's role? She is aware that he is giving her a chance, the opportunity that she has been longing for, a chance to make a name for herself and show her abilities. She steps ahead and calls out to her grandmother. She knows that it's not like she would miss this chance. She calls out to her grandmother and states that she just wants to ask one thing. Line which is, do not hold the actions of the strong accountable. That is the rule of the Orca family. The grandmother responds yes, it is right. She mentions that the main issue of today's agenda is the fight. They are nitpicked about dignity and such. But the important thing is this, right? She mentions that if her grandmother judges fairly, she will tell her something very interesting. Bayon asks the head of the family to allow him to speak. She knows that his story is now over. The grandmother states that it is enough and asks Calypso to continue her statement. She questions how many people did Bayon bring on the day of the fight. No less than 10, Agenor took on about 3. The remaining 7 were faced by her. She makes it clear that he was completely defeated by a 3-year-old like her. She calls him an idiot and wonders if he was happy to bring witnesses. Realizing that he just helped her, she tells the grandmother that the witnesses say themselves said it repeatedly. Did not they that the daughter of the Lord fights very well? According to the rules of the Orca family, she is the winner, and that he cannot challenge her as she is the victor. Furthermore, that day there was a friend of hers who got involved in the fight even though he is not an Orcadot, and Bayon threatened to kill her friend if she did not join the fight, so all her actions were to protect her friend. Esteemed grandmother, she asks her where exactly is her fault in all this. The Orca plays a role in watching over the aquatic animals. We offer our grandmother warned her not to engage in battles with other weaker families. Her grandmother mentions that she knew a lot at just the age of 3. Although she was threatened, she still reluctantly participated in the fight and won, finding her story interesting, but questions if she has a witness too. Calypso knows it is now coming. Agenor is involved in this, so it won't work, and Ruga are still under treatment. In the end, they do not have a witness on their side. No one really. Right then, a woman raises her hand and mentions that she would like to attend as a witness on this matter. The grandmother asks her if she has something to say. For what reason? She mentions that in the princess story, a close friend that she mentioned was threatened, and that was her twin sons. Calypso is shocked to find Ruga and Ruba's mother, but she wonders if the family is so powerful that the Veluga family is here too. She states that she would like to introduce herself to the princess as she is the head of the Belugas family. She mentions one of her children suffers from severe injuries from Bayon's violence. He suffered serious heart damage and is on the brink of death. Calypso becomes shocked. She knows that Ruga was set not to be seriously injured. She notices their father telling her to be quiet. She wonders if the witness can lie. She then thinks that if that guy did, then what cannot they do? She likes the Veluga. Their mother tells the head of the family to take this as a serious matter, as why did her child have to suffer from the fight of the Orca? She states that as the representative of all the vassals, she cannot ignore this matter. And with today's events, she believes that the noble Orcas who do not harass their weak vassals and respect them should not be harmed. Their father also stated that he reported this to the Educational Institution Agency, and they can invite the families who were with them as a witness. Calypso tells the grandmother that she thinks this witness is enough. The grandmother begins to laugh, mentioning that the result of a duel with barely a 3-year-old, she is not interested in people who cannot give in. Baron tries to speak, but grandmother asks him to shut up, stating that although it was unmatched, she heard Calypso well, and then she will make a judgment. She states that Baron showed off his strength, an injured child of a prominent vessel. Moreover, he violated the strict rules of the educational institution. In addition, he was busy minimizing his own mistakes, daring to lie and deceive the patriarch. Considering all of this, the grandmother mentions that Baron is to be forcibly removed from the institution and placed on probation for 1 year. His father asks grandmother to please not do that, stating that while he clearly made a mistake considering all of his achievements so far, she should move so mercy on him. The grandmother asks the opinion of Calypso. She mentions that there is no intention of undermining the Lord's punishment. However, the biggest victims of this incident are Ruga and Ruba. She also wants to hear what they think. The mother of Ruga and Ruba mentions that they will abide by Lady Calypso's and the Lord's decision. Then it is final that with no objections from the jury, The punishment will be carried out to be shocked out in the society of all graduating from an intermediate institution at this age is crucial for proving one's abilities. Moreover, during the probation period, there will be no opportunity to build connections. Actually, if it were her during the punishment period, she would somehow manage to impress her grandmother and get the sentence suspended. She is aware he is not the one who was in that position based on his abilities, and it was luck. Instead, the one who should be noted for their skill is Sort, the second grandfather's son, and Dad's eldest son, Bellis. This is how the successor's situation change. Since Baron has fallen into the role of an errand boy, Bellis and Sorte will compete for the ranking. It does not matter who the lord is. The grandmother states that finally, one thing is that she will not officially recognize Calypso as the direct descendant, causing her to be shocked. The ultimate purpose of wanting to attend the family meeting was to achieve this through grandmother's introduction, as they never expected such a spectacular debut. Her father tells her that she has done well. She hugs him, stating that they did it. She knows that being the protagonist is always thrilling. The grandmother stares at them, thinking, would one look at that? When introduced directly to the head of the family, one would expect them to be overwhelmed or scared by the pressure. But she actually enjoys the attention. The girl mother knows that her physical enhancement is top-notch, and they say she is naturally skilled at fighting. Yet she cannot even create a single droplet. The order is a complete mess, and she knows of such a genius. She asks the Bellis to come closer. He asks grandfather if she called for him. She asks him what does he think of this situation. Previously, the youngest to be officially recognized was him. It was only 6 years old. The grandmother tells him that his younger sister has surpassed his record and been recognized. Even the lord who never cared for children seems to be supporting her. Besides, was not her rival Bayan also cast aside? She mentions that she will tolerate any insolence, so he should share his opinion. He mentions that his grandmother's punishment is very fair, and they cannot show mercy to those who break the rules. However, Calypso injured a classmate despite having sufficient ability should also be responsible. He thinks that in conclusion both Bayan and his younger sister Calypso are at fault. The grandmother responds that is a fitting response for him. He responds that she flatters him. Calypso can hear everything. She thinks that at a disciplinary committee held because his sister got hit, he said that both of them were equally at fault. Before she leaves this mansion, she'll have to fix his personality. Agener tells his sister that she did a good job and congratulates her on being recognized by the head of the family. Although the meeting is not completely over yet, judging by the atmosphere, it is practically finished. Sodi came. She responds that she got it. She wonders why are they glaring so fiercely. She makes a funny face and ponders. Whatever, now they just can stay quietly at home. Your mother is stepping away before the mother of Ruga and Ruba asks her if she can say a few words. She mentions that she would like to use the right of choice given to a vassal. And from now on the Beluga family that she lead will follow Lady Calypso Aquazil. Calypso asks her father to put her down. The mother continues, stating that by sticking the irrevocable choice of a vassal. Their family supports Lady Calypso Aquazil as the next successor. Everyone begins to get shocked, questioning what is she talking about. Calypso wonders if she realizes that she's only 3 years old. And more importantly, she has no intention of becoming the head. As it is over and they are finally out, her father asks her if she is going to talk. She tells him that people are staring at her. As soon as today's meeting ends, there is no real person who will come running quickly. If we're just like that, he'll chase away the annoying small pry. She sarcastically thinks how kind it is of him. She knows after doing this when they go back he won't say die for deceiving him and then try to take her down directly. Agener steps away, stating that he is going ahead. Person runs after Agener. Calypso wonders who is that person. Installed. It is a collateral line following the third son. She wonders why would he turn back when seeing a collateral family member just say it straight. She then notices the mother of Ruga and Rupa smiling at her and thinks if she should run away. After a while, the mother of Ruga and Ruba calls her successor, but she refuses it, stating that she should not call her that. Their mother thanks her for agreeing to the conversation request as there are many eyes and ears watching, so she brought her to a quiet place. Her father is waiting in the building. Calypso mentions that she probably did not call her out just to leisurely ask how she is doing, asking their mother, what does she want to say? As if she does not have anything, she will then ask first. But she is curious why she used her one only right of choice to nominate her. Their mother apologizes, stating that however the choice given to vassals, she is determined to use it for Lady Calypso. She wonders, even though there are many other strong head candidates besides her. Besides, this is the first time she has heard about the vessel's choice in previous rounds. It was because of overwhelming strength that someone became the leader. She wonders what is that old hack thinking, she asks her. Is not that only way to become the hat is to be succeeded by the current head, or to build up one's own power? She responds, but the choice is more powerful for the vast self. However, the head of the family directly puts a restriction on it with the power of water, and she can only provide limited information to Lady Calypso. Moreover, this right of choice carries a different weight. The declaration cannot be withdrawn, and the chosen successor cannot be changed. Calypso asks if that means, therefore if she falls, then they too will fall. But if she becomes the head, they will gain everything. It is like an all-in-bed with no take-backs. Calypso wonders how can she make sure a gambler who is all-in won't fail? Calypso yells at her, questioning what on earth made her choose her. She responds that her children owes their lives to her, as thanks to her quick action, the mental and physical wounds of Ruga and Ruby were minimized. While it is known that there are many excellent successors in this generation among the killer whales, there has never been anyone who considered for the week before. That is why she chose Calypso. And the story she is about to tell her now is allowed because she declared her support for her in front of the head of the family 30 years ago. The head of the family summoned the leaders of 8 families. For various reasons, the 8 families selected by the head of the family were granted a special right, the right to choose the next head of the family. Regardless of how powerful the successor's faction is, the successor who receives the most votes from the 8 families will become the next head of the family. The mother of Ruga and Ruba declares it doesn't matter how big or small the successor's faction is. The rule is the successor who gets the most words from the 8 families will be the next head of the family. Narrowing her eyes, Calypso deadpans. She is only 3 years old. She also points out how the younger the successor is, the worse it is for them. The mother of Ruga and Ruba nonchalantly replies, of course they are aware of that. However, she points out that today, it's Calypso herself who broke that disadvantage. She is also quick to remind that they recognized her as a gem early on. She declares they are looking forward to working with her and refers to her as a successor. While she smiles politely, Calypso rubs her head in frustration, probably regretting her lifetime choices. Suddenly a sense of sadness flickers in the mother of Ruga and Ruba eyes as she softly murmurs. She is a mother too, so she cannot help but be worried for her, further revealing that her child almost lost his life. This catches Calypso off guard, who asks her what she is talking about and reminds them that they said his life was in danger. She confesses her husband told a white lie and reveals the truth that when they first brought Ruga, he almost died from a panic attack. Suddenly, Calypso's demeanor shifts and a wave of malice energy radiates from her as she demands to know why didn't they tell her earlier, declaring she would not have let that person off so easily. She looks ready to kill, her eyes gleaming with a dark intent. Also noticing the change in her, the mother of Ruga and Ruba giggles nervously, assuring he's completely fine now. Though she admits as a mother she was furious too, she was willing to do anything and knows any parent would feel that way. She reminisces just like how Lord Pierre, who had been in seclusion for so long, came out for his daughter today. With a sudden change in tone, she grins. Anyway, they say the next head of the Beluga family has to be her, so there's no choice, and she also expresses her eagerness to work with her. From the look on Calypso's face, it is more than clear she does not share the same eagerness. She wonders if they behave like that, how the hell is she supposed to tell them she doesn't want to be the head of the family? Later, she is sprawled on the sofa, looking as if the weight of the world rests on her tiny shoulders. Lord Pierre appears, remarking seems like other issues have mostly been taken care of. However, he adds that she and him still have things to discuss. Her face betrays her nervousness when she realizes it is finally happening. She thinks about how she has managed to avoid it until now, but this time there's no skipping. He starts with addressing the issue of titles. Her alarmed eyes are the only sign she understands what's coming before she starts feigning innocence and questions what does he mean. He doesn't beat around the bush and gets straight to the point that if she was aware he was her dad. Avoiding his gaze, she admits she knew it from the start. When he questions how, she hesitantly meets his gaze and counters how could she not. He is her dad. She believes after today she cannot treat her mentor the same way as before and wonders who will be her guardian until she is 10. It also comes into her mind because she stands out too much. She will surely be plagued by countless assassination threats now. She also cannot help but worry about Bayless. All these thoughts are overwhelming her. She tries to convince herself they are totally fine. So why is she the one freaking out? However, the times how he stood up for her at the disciplinary committee or how he protected her during the meeting invades her mind. However, the image of her father flashes through her mind, and she tells herself she only has one dad. His words, that he loves her to the moon and back, echoes in her mind. She questions Pierre, what's the point now? That is so selfish. He replies that's just how killer whales are. She cannot help but think about them as selfish creatures that only care about the family they choose themselves. He reminds her they still have quite some time ahead of them. He offers if she wishes, he will continue to be her guardian, but if she does not, he will stop. She clenches her fist and remains quiet. He cannot help take her silence as rejection, believing that would be understandable because if this 3-year-old had not approached him first, this bond would have been cut forever. Suddenly her arm shoots out and grabs his hand. She pleads with him to make an oath, stunning him into silence. There's a clear desperation clouding in her eyes. She challenges if he thinks his feelings won't change, he should swear by the sea. When he continues to gaze at her with shock, she thinks how it's an oath that stakes his life so he wouldn't do it, and convinces herself there is nothing to feel disappointed about. However, time seems to stand still as his voice cuts through the air. He solemnly declares he, Pierre Aquasiatel, will serve as the father of Calypso Aquasiatel until his death. Now this is her turn to be rendered speechless, looking at him with shock evident in her eyes. Letting go of her hand, he rises, standing tall as he warns this leaves no room for retreat. He wishes to know what is her next move, and reminds her the sea oath she desired is an unbreakable promise among the aquatic creatures. And if he breaks this, he loses everything. As she fists her dress, the gravity of the situation dawns on her. She silently deems him crazy, aware she would never do that if she was in his place. She then shakes her thought, reminding herself that this is a good thing for her. It means she has gained a reliable guardian. She keeps repeating the mantra in her mind that she is not curious at all as to why he abandoned her in the first place, and she doesn't wish to know. She then faces him and questions if she can call him master. Confused, he inquires why the change in titles. He seems to contemplate something for a moment, and then remarks her thoroughness is not like his. She deadpans, maybe she took after her mother. An evil smirk plays on her lips as she considers what should be important to her is that she can turn this situation into an opportunity. Calling him master, she requests for a wish. With a beaming smile and a very eager look in her dazzling eyes, she declares she wishes to go to the Dragon Festival. Without missing a beat, he replies all right, he will get approval for the trip. When she murmurs really, he states in a firm voice, letting her know he will listen to her plans and orders her not to forget that. A smile plays on his lips as he confidently states when he earns her recognition, she'll have to drop the title master. She looks away, appearing nervous with a hint of shyness in her eyes. Later he thinks about her, a born fighter and adept at dealing with situations, which means that Calypso is not acting like a child. He also cannot help but think about the look she gave him filled with so many expectations for the first time. He believes that means until now, there has not been a single moment when she expected anything from him. He is perplexed as to how a mere 3-year-old acts like this. Even so, the reason he accepted her is because he saw her face full of unquestioning belief that he would accept her. When he picked her up in his arms, she seemed so tiny and fragile with the feather-like lightness of her weight. Before he knew it, she had already entered his heart. Otherwise, there would not be any answer for the anger he felt for her sake today. A tiny knock on the door brings him back to the moment. Calypso steps in, informing him she has finished all her training. She also murmurs if it is her imagination or did the training actually get more intense. He claims it is just her imagination. She turns her face away from his view to narrow her eyes at him. Turning back to face him, she asks for permission to say something. He is taken aback by her sudden question, which inquires if he loves her as a daughter. A tense silence settles over them when he remains quiet for a while. Doubt begins to bloom in her heart, making her think whether she asked something wrong. Just at that moment, he murmurs in a voice barely audible that he doesn't know what love is. She states she figured as much. She shrugs, confessing that actually, if he had said he knew what love was, that would indeed require an oath by the sea to prove it. His eyes narrowed at her, prompting her to clarify she was just joking. She suddenly declares that he doesn't need to worry because she has no expectations either. Clutching the sleeve of his shirt, she confesses in a soft murmur that she does not expect him to love her as a daughter. Further adding, that is why she will work to make their relationship mutually beneficial. All she asks of him is for him to protect her when necessary or just to worry about her when she is in pain. That's more than enough for her. The poor girl thinks to herself she does not know what it feels like to be loved, so they will be good partners. After some days, she is brimming with excitement, unable to believe that she is officially going to the Dragon Festival. It has been 2 days since Pierre came to her to inform her that the trip to the Dragon Festival has been approved. Now it is just a matter of time before they leave. The Dragon Festival occurs in order to honor the dragon, the guardian deity of the Empire, and the Dragon Duke hold an imperial festival once a year in a dragon city. She further reveals at the end of the 3rd festival, the Dragon Duke opened a dimension. The problem, however, is that no one knows how he did it, so her plan is to naturally meet and get to know each other at the Dragon Festival. She believes if she gets the chance to talk to him, it would be good to build friendships, and the best way for that would be to settle down there. In her previous life, mobility wasn't as free. She probably would have had to wait until she was 10 years old. But thanks to Pierre, she has built a reputation and gained strength. Now she is officially recognized at the family meeting, and the trip to the Dragon Festival was approved because of that. She realizes her father is so useful. Later, as she strolls through the garden, the Dolphin brothers burst from the bushes, calling her name with excitement. They all gather in the garden, while Bayless, hidden in a corner, whispers her name. Ruba tells her that her mother and father asked him to send their regards to her. Ruba adds they want to invite her to their home. Still reeling from the surprise, she chooses to let it go, charmed by their cuteness. She caresses Ruga's hair, and Ruga goes quiet, his shyness taking over. After a moment, Ruga murmurs he's aware she wouldn't come to their house. Her face says it all. She is bewildered over how they know. But then it hits her that dolphins are very quick-witted and smart creatures. The silence breaks when Ruga admits he was worried he would get a trauma, but she saved him. Ruba compliments her, saying she's a good person. She smiles nervously as she blurts out she's not that good of a person. She cannot help but think if she really was a good person, she would have taken responsibility for the family who endorsed her as an heir rather than making escape plans. A sudden thought occurs in her mind that if she publicly supports Agenor as the heir, will the family naturally follow Agenor as well? She snaps out of her thoughts when she hears the twin giggles. They laugh at how her forehead is all furrowed, just like their mother's. A sad smile appears on her face, and she cannot help but think it's why it is so troublesome when she gets close to people. She then reminds them the class is about to start, they should go. At that moment, Bellis decides to reveal himself and calls out her name to catch her attention. She tenses up immediately, and even the others look on in confusion. Her demeanor shifts, her eyes turning alert as she orders the brothers to leave first. She asks him was he looking for her. Bellis looks at her with blank eyes as he responds with a yes. He asks her if she sensed his presence. She doesn't bother responding to that and wants him to get to the point. What's the matter? He replies he came to talk to her. However, now he wishes to know why she is in a fighting stance. She indeed looks like she's standing in a battlefield, her tiny hands clenched into fists and raised defensively. She comes up with a snarky remark that he's here just to talk, but his way of talking isn't with words. Not even a slightest difference in his expressions, just the same blank look as he murmurs, "Is that so?" Taking a step towards her, he advises her to think logically. He will never challenge her to a fight in a place like this. However, she counters that people do not care about the location when it comes to a fight. How can she believe he did not come here for a fight? Reminding him he only acts when he's certain. It does not escape her mind, though, that her skills would not match Bellis's level. She makes up her mind not to leave this place even if he has come with the intention to fight. She won't cross lines in the basic training facility. He deadpans. She has been speaking as if she knows him well since earlier. He lets her know he has never engaged in unnecessary fights except those who came to him. The water begins to swirl around him, rising in rhythmic waves, while the wind intensifies. He questions how is she aware that he likes to fight. She grits her teeth in panicked frustration, stunned by the sheer number of water streams he just created. He starts murmuring, almost to himself, wanting to know who was that person among the ones he dealt with, the one even after getting beaten, was still talking. On the other hand, Calypso is confused, unable to understand how he changed when he was still meat during training days, or was he just pretending to be weak? He points out even his grandmother does not know he likes fighting. He states he has no reason to make a visible mistake here by starting a fight, so he is being sincere when he says he doesn't intend to fight her. However, Calypso does not look convinced and lets him know she does not believe anything that comes out of his mouth. She wants him to get to the point or get out of her way. After a moment of silence, he speaks, stating the fact that Bayan has fallen as a golden opportunity for him, and since she is weaker than him, it would be advantageous to remove her from his way now, but he is genuinely interested in her. Fuming, she thinks how funny. No matter how exceptional she proves herself to be, to him, she is still a mere novice who cannot even use the power of water properly. She believes in the end, his interest is not in her, but rather in Master Pierre. She retorts, take back that interest as it's not welcome, adding what he's really interested in is not her, but their father. He wants to know why she thinks like that, as he's not interested in him. Besides, he does not acknowledge him as a father. She deadpans he's a real piece of work. Sighing deeply because this topic seems to be circling, Bellis decides to be straightforward. He declares he wants to observe her. Depending on the situation, he might even want to support her as a successor. He's quite impressed with her performance in the family meeting. That is the reason he came to meet her again, to see if she is someone he could support and show a bit of respect for what she has done. Grabbing his hand pointed at her, she replies she heard it properly. Smiling, she expresses she actually has something she wishes to discuss now and requests him to lend his ear for a moment. For the first time, Bellis's face is not blank, his expressions betraying genuine shock as he hesitantly says all right. He wonders what kind of strong power she has to lock him in a vice grip. Leaning in closer, she whispers in his ear not to be ridiculous. She warns him not to act like a fool. She dares him to swear by the sea he's so innocent. He remarks, cunning, isn't she? He snatches his hand away from her grip easily. He sends a punch her way, but she manages to dodge it. Intending to grab and twist his wrist, her hand shoots out, but pain surges through her as it makes contact with the water. He states tricks like that won't work on him. She thinks to herself, that guy getting angry and throwing punches right away, he's still just a kid. She freezes in shock when he murmurs she is going to the Dragon Festival this year, right? Seeing her expressions, he states he is closer to his grandmother than she might think. He knows almost all the information that comes to her. Since it was a direct request from Pierre, he finds it interesting. She pleads with the deity for her prediction to be wrong. With a deceptively sweet smile, he announces he plans to follow her on this journey as well. He's curious as to why she wishes to go there. And there she goes, her prediction turns right. Baffled, she can only curse him in her mind, wanting to know why this crazy idiot is going there. The look in his eyes worries her because it's the same look he had when they had that fight. She knows he's someone who enjoys interfering with others. He turns to leave, but halts in his tracks when he remembers grandmother called for her. Entering her grandmother's room, she muses as expected of a killer whale. Everything is completely black. Bowing gracefully, she greets her grandmother. Her greeting is met with her grandmother's whining that she is still ridiculously small. She wonders if she just called her here to pick a fight. Her grandmother rises from the chair, declaring she did not seem this small at the family meeting. She asks if she shrinked into a little rice cake since then. She shifts the topic, asking her to sit down and telling her she called her because there is something interesting she's curious about. It's about the things that have been happening at her place. She heard Calypso requested an inspection of her predecessor's qualification and follow-up actions. She wonders why she is only bringing this up now, after all this time. Doubt plagues her thought that if she is taking action because she was recognized at the family meeting. However, Calypso doesn't let her inner turmoil show on her face and replies, it is right when the predecessor was in charge. The meals were inadequate and the environment was terrible, adding after a pause that there was no one else her age when she was there. The grandmother highlights a line on the document with her finger and asks what does that mean and if she means to say they all died and she survived despite that. She reminds her grandmother she had strong and weak individuals who competed under fair conditions without providing the same condition. If a child dies because someone took away their rights and harassed them, it would not be a competition, but a killing. She also points out, according to the records, the children who came to the building she was then died before reaching the age of 3. Calypso ponders how is this different from infanticide? Even so, she knows such things would not matter to grandmother. In that case, she decides something and speaks. No one would care if someone claimed that their weakness was the reason behind their death. Who would say otherwise? She also points out no one knows what kind of talents those children had, and that she might have missed out on quite talented children. In other words, that maid tampered with the head of the family's assets. He notices the shift in Grandma's demeanor and realizes she is getting a reaction. She just wishes to add one more thing, but before she can, the door swings open and a tense-looking Pierre enters. Calypso is surprised to see her father and wonders why he is here. The grandmother complains, reminding him he knows it's rude, yet he barged in anyway. Where did he learn such manners? In response, he states he learned them from her. As who else would the little ones learn from? Of course, it would be their parents. Gritting her teeth, she replies he has lost his mind from being cooped up at home, while Calypso watches them as she's watching some entertainment show. The grandmother declares she has spoiled him, and now his arrogance is through the roof. The water starts swirling around her. Calypso, who appears to be battling against the forces of the wind, thinks, wait, they're bringing out the power of water here. He tells his mother to direct her anger at him. Is she trying to kill his daughter? However, she nonchalantly replies she knew he would step in to stop her. So he's why that little girl was so insolent. She further remarks, well, it's been a while since she found a baby killer whale she likes, so she's decided to cherish and protect her. However, Calypso is fuming because she was just about to kill her. She settles down in her chair and instructs them to do the same. Pierre states if his mother called for his daughter, it's only right that he as her guardian accompany her, as he does not trust her mother to not do anything wrong. His mother comes up with a snarky reply, telling him to wipe his sweat before he speaks, as he came running so quickly that he seems out of breath. He looks away, avoiding her gaze, and murmurs, "He did not run." Calypso realizes he came for her. He ran from such a distance to get here for her. She looks stunned with a hint of warmth in her wide eyes. He lifts his daughter up and asks her if she's hurt anywhere. She assures him she is not. The grandmother from behind questions, does he at least find his own child beautiful? When he remains quiet, she finally relents and agrees to let him know. Since he's the guardian, she reveals they were just discussing the punishment for the maid who hurt his daughter. She asks for his opinion as well as what should be done with the maid. Calypso is baffled. What she's talking about, they need an investigation team to find out the truth first. Why is she already discussing the punishment, and why is she asking her father about this? She thinks she already knows how he'll react, and there's no doubt he'll just brush it off. But the words that comes out of his mouth widen her eyes in disbelief because he just instructed her to kill her. Suddenly, he starts radiating malice energy, scaring Calypso, who hides her face in his chest. Not only that, he also wants the authority of disposing of her. The maid of Aquasiatel, Lumi, thought to herself, she is so miserable, even when she was always nice to everyone, only because she was a pufferfish beast. Everyone avoided her. She also ended up fighting someone else, because they were insulting the pufferfish beast. She remembered how everyone blamed her for everything. Her colleagues avoided her because of her selfishness, but Lumi did not realize that. After going through many places, Lumi ended up as a nanny at a child care facility. She thought to herself, at least the babies won't avoid her. However, her eyes suddenly got filled with so much hatred gazing at the baby, thinking this child's future was bright. Killing was only hard for her the first time. One day, a child appeared before Lumi. She was Calypso. Lumi knew her future would shine brighter than anyone else's. After all, she was a direct descendant of a killer whale. She snaps out of her thoughts when someone throws water at her, but the sight that greets her leaves her flabbergasted, because Calypso stands before her. Calypso murmurs, it's her, the one on whom she had poured hot water. She recalls the events and states she is still alive. Calypso also murmurs it's fine if she doesn't remember anything, because she remembers everything, all 10 years of it. She also adds, and even if she does not remember, a very capable person will help her remember everything. However, Lumi continues to feign innocence, asking her what? Wait a minute, what's happening? She goes on as if Lumi did not say anything and states she will experience everything exactly as she did to her. Rotten food for her as a meal, hot water being pushed down the stairs. When Lumi remains lost in her thoughts, she turns her back on her and moves to leave, but certainly stops looking back there. Is she going to blame others again? Because even when the perpetrator forgets, the victim remembers everything until the end. When she steps out of the room, her father awaits her and questions as she said everything she needed to. She replies yes. He declares that Maid will be called a killer who killed numerous children, and she won't live peacefully for the next 10 years. Out of the blue, her daughter asks him if he doesn't find it odd. He asks her what does she mean. She counters. She knows he heard everything she said about 10 years and so on. So does he not believe that it's very childlike of her? He looks down at her small figure and pats her on the head, letting her know he knows how a child can also feel pain. That's why he made who hurt her pay the price. He also assures her he does not expect any explanation from her. Picking her up gently in his arms, he reminds her he promised that he would act like a father from now on. She confesses if she knew it would turn out like this, she would have come to him earlier and begged for him. He softly murmurs that such assumptions are meaningless now. A relief sigh escapes her mouth, and she smiles a little. She thinks he sounds like a careless fool, saying something just for the sake of it. He wants him. He needs to prove things through his actions because if mother were alive, he would have been divorced by now. He is quick to agree. She then remarks it is strange how quick he is at assessing the situation. He lets her know she sometimes talks like his mother. She takes it as an insult. He shucks, wanting her to think what she likes. The investigation on Louis was concluded in just 3 days. It was rushed because of the grandmother. By his son, who wanted the authority to handle her punishment. She was kind of against it, still mad at him for barging into her office unannounced first. She also wanted to know why Calypso wished to go to the Dragon Festival. At that moment, Calypso decided to give an answer that her grandma would definitely like. She said, according to the maid's only land, animals are invited to the Dragon Festival. The Dragon Festival is a ceremony honoring the Empire's guardian, the dragon. So wasn't it strange that those superior aquatic beast men were not allowed to attend, so she wanted to go in person and show them the greatness of the aquatic beast men? Her grandmother burst into laughter and said she has no intention of reversing her permission and wanted to know when was she departing. She replied in a week. However, her grandmother ordered her to go sooner and to go early so she could flatten the noses of those land creatures. After the conversation was done, she dismissed both the son and the daughter. They were leaving when his father stopped at his mother's words. Referring to her granddaughter as a little pebble, she told her to survive until the day she called her by her name. Pierre announced there was nothing to worry about because he would make sure nothing happens to his daughter. The grandmother looked creeped out. They bolted out of there when she screamed at them not to say creepy things and get out. After that, they turned to Layla to decide Lumi's fate. And today, the day has finally arrived. Tomorrow she's leaving for the City of Dragon. Ekina was the city named after the first dragon to appear in the Empire, who became the Empire's guardian deity. After the Empire's first emperor married the blue dragon, the guardian deity, their 2 children, the one with the lion beast markings, ascended to the throne. While the dragon-marked child was granted the title of Duke, one would think that the dragon duke with imperial blood would enjoy a life of luxury and convenience. However, that was not the case. No, not at all. A maid stepped into his room, shaking in fear because it was so gloomy. She was thrilled when she was first chosen as an attendant for the Dragon Duke family. But then they called her over, saying there was a job only she could do. With a smirk on his face, the Duke warned her that the attendants and maids here were perfectly invisible, as it was best not to mention what they had seen or heard anywhere, especially if they did not want to be torn apart and killed. The maid thought to herself, who would have known that the famous Dragon Duke did not live in his own castle? On top of that, she never imagined he was a monster. She informed him in a shaking voice that his dinner was ready, but the sound startled her when she stepped in. The whole room was being trashed. Everything was being thrown all around. Filled with intense fear, she fell to her knees, begging for her life. However, the child in front of her did not pay any attention to her and ate the food that fell on the floor from. Today is the day Calypso sets off for the City of Dragons. Even so, the reason she came to school today is because she must bid them farewell. Both the brothers look at her in excitement, asking if she's really going to the festival. She replies yes, and also she has to go soon since she is departing soon. She also thinks she's in such a mood right now that she could even smile and greet Charon. She caresses Ruger's hair, who wants to know if she could have lunch with them, but she tells him she cannot as she has to greet everyone and leave right away. Thinks to herself this was probably the last time she would touch his soft hair and finds the thought a little depressing. Ruga senses the slight difference in her demeanor today, while Rubus states his mother told him to tell her that he must visit sometime. He also insists she must visit sometime. However, she does not respond and just tells them to take care, leaving the brothers to look at her in concern. She whispers her farewell and turns abruptly to leave, but a hand catches her wrist, stopping her. It's Ruga, tears filling his eyes as he asks, "She is not planning to come back, is she?" She smiles faintly, thinking how quickly they pick up on things. Gently retracting her hand from his grip, she waves at him with a bright smile before leaving, both children now in tears. He sits in the carriage headed to the City of Dragons. She seriously ponders. She thinks no matter how strong she is, she would probably die if she jumped out of a moving carriage, right? Why is she thinking that? Well, it is because the atmosphere in this carriage is suffocating. She hesitantly looks at her father and reminds him it's the 3rd day now. Would it be okay if she rode with the mates and the nanny instead? However, he refuses, quickly telling her no. She argues that children like her are better off with the nanny for emotional development, but his response is, isn't it better for the parents to be with the child for their emotional well-being? He reminds him that respecting the child's freedom is a part of a parent's role. He teaches her to differentiate between freedom and indulgence, and between letting go and neglecting. She cannot help but retort, to think she is hearing this from someone who neglected her for 3 years. As she watches the perpetrator in front of her, she blames him because he barged into her journey. Bellis does not pay any attention to the glares directed his way. She cannot help but think what on earth is his motive for following her. Instead of dealing with remnants when Bayan's power weakened significantly, why did he choose to follow her? She's only aware that Grandma allowed it. She snaps out of her thoughts when someone pinches her cheek, making her groan in frustration. Pierre gazes at her daughter and states, "Did not she ask him to play the role of a father?" He declares he's trying to behave like a father from now on. With cheeks still pinched between his fingers, he points out. She lisps when she speaks like that, looking at him as if he's so stupid. She points out, "Isn't it obvious?" Out of the blue he states she looked like she would cry saying master when she was born. He pinches her cheek again, causing her to gasp and tell him to watch his behavior. He reminds her, did not he say this was playing the role of a father? However, they stop when Bellis' voice sists through the air, asking him why he is hurting a child. He also remarks he did not know someone as strong as him, comparable to the head of the family, had a hobby of bullying children. Calypso gives him a deadpan look. He wonders what's with that reaction and wants her to get it together. Bellis states that he did not know that Pierre, who is as strong as the head of the household, had a hobby of tormenting little kids. Calypso is totally confused as she wonders why is he acting like this, but she is aware that her dad is an adult. He won't fall for Bellis' provocation. She notices how he is quietly backing down. But right then, Pierre asks Bellis if he is trying to exploit his weakness. Calypso ponders that she guesses he is not a very mature adult. She looks at the atmosphere in the carriage and wonders what is wrong. She tells them if they are going to fight, then they should do it outside, making it clear that if one of them ends up dead, they should make sure to bury them discreetly so no one notices for a while. But she really wants to go to the Dragon Festival. She is aware that if someone actually dies and causes a problem, she won't be able to go to the festival. She tells them if it turns out like that, it will be really boring. She thinks to herself, they do not listen to her this time. She is really taking Mrs. Carriage. Everyone is quiet in the carriage as she wonders if this is actually working. Both Bellis and Pierre are minding their own business as Calypso thinks that she likes this quietness, but she has never been a fan of this kind of atmosphere. It is deadly quiet and awkward. She does not like the quietness in places like these. She knows it is because every sound can be heard clearly. She begins to think about the past as she wonders if it is because she's going to their land, as only unpleasant memories keep coming back. She realizes that she needs to lighten the mood somehow. She calls out Pierre and questions what is the Dragon Festival like. He responds that he has never been to the Dragon Festival. She tells them that he must have been to other festivals or banquets. He states if she means other festivals, then he went to quite a few when he was younger and maybe twice after becoming an adult. He gets spirited it past. She tells him he has been to quite a lot and asks him how were the festivals. He tells her they are not much different from the ones hosted by the killer whale family, and the same goes for the water festival. The Empire has 3 major festivals: the Dragon Festival, the Earth Festival, and the Water Festival. Among them, the Water Festival is the biggest event for aquatic beastmen. Of course, the land dweller mocked it as the fishy-smelling party. There were countless fights at the festival, and many ended up dead. She asks him if they are talking about the same thing here. In the end, the festival that her father talked about was fighting a polar bear. He won it, and he caught a 50-year-old great white shark, and as well a fox used poison. But she knows it is just a fight fest. She asks them why are all his festival stories only about fighting. He tells her that the important thing is that he won. She tells him of course he had to win, as he is the pride of the killer whale family after all. He does not give her a response as she wonders why does he not respond, thinking if he is angry. As she looks at him, he has a straight reaction on his face. She asks him if he is perhaps feeling embarrassed. He tells her he has never felt that emotion, so he would not know. She states that ordinary people call it shyness. She tells him he is embarrassed now, right? But he responds that he does not know. They know that duels are officially allowed at the Dragon Festival. She is aware that she was trying to tease him a bit more. Bellis mentions that wild beasts enjoy the festival in a way different from regular aquatic beastmen. Calypso wonders if she should listen a little more. She then asks him to tell her more. She is aware she has only heard rumors about the Dragon Festival, and she has never participated. After becoming the head of the family, her relationship with the lady dwellers deteriorated horribly. Going to their festival is like walking into a trap willingly. That is why she is curious about what the eldest son has to say. He tells her if she wants to enjoy the festival fully, then she should pretend to be a prey. He mentions if it were her, Jaruna Parva and Dumbo Octopus would suit her well. Jaruna Parva is a name commonly known as the Sea Bunny. Calypso becomes angry, wanting to beat Bellis, but Pierre grabs onto her. She asks him to let her handle this as her fist wants to give the firstborn a pat. Pierre asks her to calm down as she will get hurt if she falls off the chair. He tells her that she cannot kill that guy with her water fist, so she can just sit quietly. She asks Pierre if he is siding with Bellis now, but he responds there is no way. He mentions that he will deal with him his way. Calypso realizes that is another issue as she tells him to not do that. She becomes aware that she needs to change the mood again. She then suddenly questions if they go to the Dragon Festival, they can see the Dragon Duke as well, right? She is told that is not certain as she becomes totally shocked. Bellis tells her that the current Dragon Duke has not been seen once since he was born. She then questions if there is no dragon at the Dragon Festival. She realizes this means she might not even see the Dragon Duke at the festival. It's like saying there are no killer whales at the Killer Whale Estate. At the same time, at the Aquacidal Estate, the Lord states that he once said to cut off any green sprouts early. For instance, the order to secretly kill Pierre's daughter. Who is dead over there? He questions the other one. If he gave that order to that guy, he mentions that eliminating that small niece of his is quite easy. But it still failed. Because of that, his child has to endure such humiliation. So he hopes it won't fail this time, leaving everyone really scared. He is questioned if it is all right with Lord Pierre present. He responds it is fine, as according to the plan, even if Pierre survives, the princess won't, and he thinks that he's not great at finishing things. But it is better to make sure everything is covered. Their journey continues. Meanwhile, Calypso inside seems very sad. She cannot believe that they are going to a dragon festival without the Dragon Duke. She never would have expected this, realizing she got too complacent. She wonders, did not the eldest say the Dragon Duke never shows his face? There is only one thing that she knows about the current Dragon Duke. He is someone who wishes to live in peace. She realizes, thinking about that personality, it is no wonder he does not appear at official events. Right then, they're informed of murderous intent. Yellow mention shows that it is coming. Their carriage suddenly falls off the cliff. She wonders how is there a car accident in this world, thinking they are targeting her. She then looks at Yellow, wondering why is he lying here like it's his bedroom, thinking there's actually no way he wants to lay around like this. Hayden mentions if they wait they will come on their own as she questions. What does he mean? He tells her he's talking about the attackers. They start to approach the carriage as she cannot wait to see which crazy people attack the carriage. As their carriage falls off, the attackers think they'll be dead soon anyway. But right then, Yellow uses his power and shocks the attackers. He gets up and gets back on the cliff, causing everyone to be startled. His guards calls out to him. The maids also rushes to the princess, asking if she's all right. They mention that they were so shocked when her carriage was suddenly attacked. Calypso notices everyone, realizing that everyone is safe. She asks Yellow if he can put her down. But he responds that it is getting troublesome to keep guard. She tells them if that is the case then he could protect her maids and nanny too. For someone that strong, he sure complains a lot. She rushes to her nanny as her nanny hugs her. He asks her if she was not scared. She responds she was fine as she was with her dad. Calypso ponders when Misa looks at her like that. It makes her chest feel all tingly. She does not hate it, but she does not know what to do either. She asks them if any of them is hurt at all, but they respond that they are all fine. Things. If that is the case, then everyone should sit and watch. The fight begins between the attackers and Yellow and Orange. Orange attacks one of the attackers, causing them to be taken aback. Calypso, as she is eating her cookie, she thinks there is even someone that can use water magic. She wonders if they mobilized all the talents from the branch families. Still, her uncle may be impatient, but he is not the type to act this recklessly. She wonders if it is because of her, the one Yellow is protecting, that Bayan has fallen. She thinks maybe he's running out of options. Right then, one of the attackers rushes to kill Calypso. But before he can do anything, she breaks his sword. The attacker ponders like father, like daughter. They both go for the sword. She also kicks him hard on the stomach. It is her justice's triple kick. She calls out to her father then. She asks him if he sent those attackers her way on purpose. Did not he? He responds yes he did, causing her to be frustrated. He states that it is a real combat training. She is aware that she has been dealing with real combat for over 10 years. They say that complacency is the best way to bring down even the strongest warrior. She looks at Orange and wonders why is he making that face? Suddenly, someone grabs Calypso from her leg. Realizing it is an ambush from below, everyone rushes out towards her, but it is too late. She wonders if there is a catfish beast man here. She feels an electric eel. Realizing this feeling is churning inside her, but she knows she cannot just sit back and take it. She tries to kick the man. After a while she seems unconscious. As she comes back to herself, she wonders if she did that. She wonders if she died. She hears people questioning where did she go and commanding that they should search thoroughly. She wonders where is she. They ask to find her quickly as she hears that once they kill her, their job here is done. This leads her on guard. One of them states that they smell something unusual from Pierre's side. Calypso realizes that these are similar trees in terrain, and from what those guys are saying, it does not seem too far from where she is. She thinks with such short-range mobility, it must be a jellyfish beastman. To summarize, the ones who attacked the carriage were decoys, and the real ones are hiding on the ground. Since she realized the existence of the catfish and jellyfish laid, it means there must have been a stealthy ability user hiding their presence. She knows this is flexible thinking, and Ilan and the conservative faction could never even imagine planning this. She becomes aware that it is clearly the work of Aunt. One of them states that their comrade is dead. The other one asks him if the death of just one jellyfish is such a big deal. She realizes that she should take this situation as an opportunity to run away. They decide to quickly scatter and search. As they start to step ahead, she wonders if they are moving to another place. She realizes this is her chance to move now, and as she decides to stand up, she realizes that she has hurt her leg. She knows that she might be able to walk slowly, but long-term combat will be tough. Realizing that she needs to avoid detection, she wonders if there is a small cave like this. She notices an insect as she wonders if it is a snake or a worm. She apologizes to it because she called it a worm. She mentions that there are malevolent beastmen killing everything in this forest, and it needs to be quiet. This makes the snake get scared. She realizes it has become quiet now, thinking it is either a beastman or has a great intelligence level. She tells it that she will be quick since there is no time, and she knows that it understands her language. She will let it go now, so it should quickly run far away as there will be a battle here. She wishes it goodbye. She notices a cave and thinks it reminds her of when she ran away and lived in the forest during the third round. She never imagined she would be doing this again at 3 years old. The snake follows behind her as she questions why it followed her here. She asks it not to follow her as it will get in danger too. Right then, one of the beastmen states that he definitely heard a strange guy. They question if she encountered wild beasts. They do not know how a kid leaves no traces. It is as if she has lived in the forest before. She knows that, yes, she has lived in the forest quite a while. She understands that she cannot keep hiding like this. Considering the time they spend searching for her and the time she took to move and find this place, a considerable amount of time has passed. She wonders if her father will be able to find her. The snake looks at her with a worried expression. Something catches her eyes, to which she wonders, what is it? It is a rabbit, she ponders. If she is spotted while in the burrow, then there is no place to escape. She needs to get out of here and steps outside. That is when the attackers find her. They follow after her and complain that she is very fast. The other attacker tells him to shut up and chase her quickly, blocking the other way as they need to corner her. As they corner her, they throw swords her way. She tries to dodge every sword while wondering why no one is coming to help her. Her leg also hurts, making her aware that she cannot continue this for long. She asks them if they are following the Bane faction. She tells them that she remembers catfish, jellyfish, and even mud skippers. The attacker commands the other one to kill her, quickly questioning what he is waiting for, stating that they do not have any time to waste. But the other one is a bit reluctant as he mentions that he's aware of it. But what if he gets in trouble for messing up with the wrong person? She tells them to run away. They start to argue about how a 6-year-old could really defeat them. One of them questions if this is the time to be fighting among themselves, as they should just finish this mission quickly. One of them steps ahead. She ponders that it is a bit disappointing, as she will have to wait for her next life to meet the Dragon Duke again. She'll have to form bonds again and face someone who has no memories. The attacker throws swords at her, but right then, a water magic flows and attacks the attackers. It is Billis, as after looking at him, Calypso gets down on the ground thinking that she's dying. She asks him if he left at least one alive as they need them as witnesses. He tells her that she should not worry about that. He looks at her with a serious expression. She asks him if he is going to kill her. She realizes that certainly if he is going to kill her, now is the only time, and if she dies here, He can say the culprit is an unidentified attacker. She tells him that if he kills her here, he will regret it. She questions if he thinks that father will not know he is the culprit, stating that he will die too then. They both stare at each other for a while before the snake gets out and gives him a dead glare. Bellis is shocked to see it and questions if it is a worm. She asks him if it looks like a worm, commanding him to apologize quickly as it is getting angry. She mentions that she thinks it is probably a snake. Bellis asks her if she was planning to eat it as a treat. This makes the snake startled. She questions what he's talking about, asking, "What whales eat snakes?" The snake vibrates and wonders if they exist. Calypso notices that the killer instinct is gone. She wonders if he just gave up on killing her. Right then, they hear a sound. Calypso asks him to grab her hand quickly. He questions why he should do that. She tells him that father is coming, and he can feel him coming too, so he should hurry and grab her hand and earn some points. Bellis questions that he still does not understand why he should earn some points with that man. Calypso mentions it is probably better than not grabbing her hand, right? Her eyes are stuck on her father as she thinks his spirit is really extraordinary. He walks towards her with blood on his shirt. Bellis grabs Calypso's hand. She whispers to him, thanking him for helping her out. She mentions that he could have let her die. She also tells him that, honestly, she does not dislike him. Whether or not Grandma is involved, they should keep it quiet from now on as it is annoying. But she will humor him, and she is not his enemy. Her father picks her up and calls her by her full name, causing her to be nervous. He asks her to mention every part of her body that has been hit because starting today, those parts will no longer exist for them. She tells him that those attackers look like they're about to die soon anyway. He asks her if there is any reason to give them a peaceful death. She tells him there is not, right? He uses his magic to torment them more. He pulls her near him as she asks him, shouldn't they have left at least one of them alive? He asks her why, as she says they could have used him as a witness, but he tells her there is no need for that. Once they go back and interrogate them one by one, the truth will come out eventually. Calypso ponders if he's going to get revenge for her, then she's all for it. It is nighttime and everyone is busy with their own things. Calypso walks towards them as he notices that her leg is injured. He knows when he asked her where she was hit, she questioned him. Who checks a wound like that? They are all dead anyway, so what's the point? He is aware that she said it herself, that they are all dead, but he is still not satisfied. Misa gives her handmade jewelry. She is totally stunned, mentioning that her hands are really skillful. Misa responds that it is nothing. Her father thinks that seeing her enjoy it so much, this bothersome journey, this useless companion, and that ambush earlier, all of them seem worth it. The relationship may have started wrong from the very first step, but if they fix it bit by bit, someday they can be in the kind of relationship they both desire. Bellis calls out to him as he questions, "What is it?" Bellis questions, "How about he makes a deal with him?" He knows which part of Calypso the dead assassins targeted. He can also give him evidence to reveal their identities. There was a fool among them who carried his family seal despite being an assassin. He shows the seal to Pierre and mentions, "This is something only hares can possess, so it should be helpful to him." Pierre asks him, "What does he want in return?" Bellis responds, "His deal is that whenever they may be, just answered his questions 3 times, but he must swear by the sea to only answer with the truth." Pierre mentions, "What does he think?" Pierre takes the seal, which means he makes the deal. He mentions that he, Pierre Quasiadel, solemnly swears by the sea to truthfully answer any 3 questions Bellis may ask anywhere, anytime. He tells him that the deal is made and asks him when he will ask his questions. Bellis states that he will ask the first question right now, stating that it is not a difficult one. The maids are making Calypso eat carrots, telling her this carrot is the last one. But she complains that they said that was the last one earlier too. Bellis calls out to Pierre and asks him if he has had any strange dreams recently. Pierre mentions that he's not sure what dreams he's talking about, but he's not had a dream in over 10 years. Bellis responds that he understands. Pierre asks her if that is all. Bellis mentions that he got the answer he was looking for. Calypso, meanwhile, is looking at the snake as she wonders why it is suddenly acting like this. She wonders if it is hungry, as it has not eaten anything since earlier today. She knows that since it is a snake, a mouse should be oak for it. She decides to find something to feed it, as everyone is busy, so she'll just step out for a moment. Pierre notices her and picks her up with his power, asking her where she is going. She does seem to be trying to find something to feed the snake. He asks if she has already gotten that close with it, even though she has only met it today. She tells him that this little snake was trying to help her out, so she does not want to ignore it. Pierre wonders if it's ok to grab it the way she is. She tells him if it is too difficult for him, then she will go. He asks her if she is intending to go with that leg. She questions if he knew. He responds, "Wouldn't it be strange if I didn't?" They stay silent for a while before he mentions that she said in situations like this, she should say something along these lines. He expresses that he was worried for her. He asks her if this is the right way to do it. She remembers in her past, her father told her that he was very worried for her, and that from now on she must come home before the sun sets. She realizes that Pierre is a good learner. He then asks her that since she said they needed food for the snake, how much do they need? Right then, the snake mentions that it's not hungry. Both of them are confused as they look at the snake. Calypso asks Pierre if he was the one who said that the snake was not hungry. He questions what she is talking about, mentioning that he did not say that. Calypso realizes that it is the snake who said it. The snake repeats that it is not hungry. It also mentions that its voice can only be heard by those with powers related to time. Pierre asks her why she thinks that, as Calypso realizes that she is the only one who heard it. She wonders if hearing it speak could mean it is half-human. A half-beast human means a being that does not have a complete human form. This includes cases where they have an animal appearance but possess human intelligence and the ability to speak. The snake states that it needs a lot of water and asks Calypso for help. Calypso panics, questioning how much water it needs. The snake tells her, and she is shocked. It turns out that it needs a whole lake. Pierre mentions that due to various reasons he cannot make as much water as a lake right now. They are not even close to the sea, and it would take a long time. Calypso seems sad at his statement. Calypso runs to Misa, requesting her to find a water source, mentioning that it is urgent. Misa asks her what she is talking about all of a sudden. Calypso asks Misa if she is a Korean minnow shapeshifter, and Misa is shocked that Calypso is aware of it. Calypso explains that the way their unit survives on land is thanks to the member who is good at finding water sources. When Misa questions why she is shrugging off her ability, Calypso responds that the growth of the member is like her pride. Misa is an imperfect shapeshifter, but is incredible at finding water sources, not aware if it is because she is a hybrid of a minnow and a shark. It is rare to see a small fish mixed with a large fish. It is an unusual combination. That is why she can hide so well. Imperfect shapeshifting is a mutation that appears in hybrids. They either lack special abilities or demonstrate exceptional abilities instead. Fortunately, in Misa's case, she possesses the ability to locate water resources, a trait of the Korean minnow shapeshifter, which lives only in clean, first-class water. However, regardless of her exceptional abilities, mutations are always subject to discrimination, no matter what world they are in. In other words, imperfect shapeshifters must live their entire lives in hiding. Since she has practically exposed Misa's secret, Calypso guesses that Misa has no choice but to help, even if she does not want to. Of course, Calypso says she will take responsibility for Misa for the rest of her life. Calypso subtly scolds herself for not wanting to hide this from her, so she'll tell her this first. She is an imperfect shapeshifter. Misa questions if it is okay for someone like her to be of help. Calypso mentions that the reason she likes her is because she's warm, kind, and a good person. That won't ever change, even if it is revealed that she is an imperfect shapeshifter. That is the Misa that she loves. Misa, with tears in her eyes, states that she'll go and look for the water source. Calypso is aware that when she looked into Misa's eyes, strangely she suddenly remembered what Bellis said in a previous life. He had told her that no matter where she goes, someone will always follow her. She asked him what he was talking about out of the blue, and if he had lost his mind after staying up all night. He stated it was because she reels people in with her seemingly insignificant words. He is a living witness. As Misa finds the water, Pierre tells her that her maid is exceptionally talented. Calypso responds that is right, she's amazing, and she did not expect her to be this fast. They realize it is enough with the admiration. As Calypso gets down and puts the snake in the lake, the moment the snake enters, its horns start glowing. Calypso is taken aback as its mouth starts to move. Pierre picks her up as they realize that the snake is really drinking the lake. All of them are totally stunned by the snake. Her nanny suddenly asks her what exactly is that. Calypso is aware that she's also curious, as she cannot believe a snake is drinking water like a pig. She wonders, isn't it drinking way too much? The ones living in the lake must be wondering what is going on. She knows this is not good, and they should stop it soon. Even Pierre asks what is it doing. Calypso tries to move, but he tells her to stay still. They realize that it has been drinking water for 30 minutes already, and it is time to stop as the fish in the lake must be wondering what sudden misfortune has come on them. They wait for some time more before the snake appears. His size is totally changed as he thanks them. Calypso is totally shocked as she tells Ed that if it is grateful then it should stop stuffing his face. She also calls him a pig. Her nanny is totally shocked by her words. Calypso is thankful that only she heard that and not her father. She knows she is going to be mad. The snake tells them that he was going to stop. She tells the snake that it is enough and it should just come down now. She does not want to end up draining an entire lake because of him. The snake gets back on his side and comes back to her. He seems very sad as he asks her if he made a mistake and if he was in the wrong. She tells him he has not made any mistakes yet and asks him if he drank enough water. He tells her yes and no, he will be fine without water for about 3 months. She is happy that is the case. She then asks the snake what exactly is he. He stays silent for a while before he mentions that his name is Tooth. He is the servant of the great dragon duke. 2 days later, their carriage journey begins as Pierre asks her if she is really that excited. She responds yes, she is looking forward to it. She ponders that of course it feels great. After all, she's happy to find out that the snake is a servant of the dragon duke. The snake asked her if she wanted him to explain in more detail. He had told her that the dragon duke took away his power and made him like this. Tooth is the only servant of the dragon duke, and he said that they share a special bond. In other words, Tooth as the servant pledged absolute loyalty, while the dragon duke is responsible for the life of the servant. Even if the dragon duke does not know, it seems that Tooth really likes him. She asked him then why was he alone in the forest. He became sad. She told him that for now, all she can do is take him back to the dragon's castle. This made him a bit happy as he thanked her. Back in the present, she's aware that in the end she could not figure out why he was left alone, but thanks to that, she now has an excuse to meet the dragon duke personally. She's imagining that if she takes him back there, the dragon duke will surely be happy too. This could be an opportunity to develop a relationship, whether it is exchanging information or forming a friendship. She becomes happy and starts to sing while thinking about it. Bellis is staring at her for a while as she asks him what is it. She questions why does he have that kind of expression. He questions where did she hear that song from. She realizes she cannot say it is a song that her subordinate from her past life sang. She tells him that she learned it from someone she knew before. Bellis seems a bit taken aback as she asks him why is he asking, questioning if it bothers him. He responds it is nothing like that. She thinks even if he adjusted to it, why is he reacting like that? Pierre then tells her that he forgot to mention something. He mentions that there are special circumstances for this festival. She asks him what does he mean. He states that the royal family will arrive on the last day of this year's dragon festival. She questions is not it usually like that. The first is commencement, the second is the declaration of the opening of the ceremony, and the third is closing of the ceremony. He mentions that the royal family usually arrives in the middle of the festival and stays until the end, but that won't be the case this time. The one giving the opening speech for the festival is Duke Pentarian. The Duke Pentarian is the Black Leopard Duke's family enjoying power, second only to the royal family, and the place where the main characters of the original story appear. She remembers her past life, as she was told that the fact that someone like her is his fiancé, he finds that extremely unpleasant. It is also the family she was sold to for an engagement in her past life. She thinks no matter how much, how many times she regresses, this anger does not disappear. Her mood suddenly becomes sad. He then tells her there's good news. He mentions that they have finally arrived in the Dragon City. This makes the snake very happy too, as he mentions that the Duke is getting closer and he should wait for him. Calypso asks the snake that he should wait as they are going in soon. The snake expresses that the Duke cannot even hold a fork without him. Calypso asks the snake, then why did he lead the side of such a master? This makes the snake cry. Calypso is aware that she will find out soon anyway. Whether he likes it or not, she's definitely going to take him to the Dragon Duke. In the night time, a man tells them that it seems difficult. There are many guests who have arrived before them, so there may not be any vacant rooms left. He tells them to please understand. Calypso wonders if this is a territorial issue. The mutual hatred between land dwellers and aquatic beings has persisted for a long time. No one knows exactly when it started. It reached its peak on the day of the summit, where learned anger and hatred were the main topics at the round table. This chaos came to a halt with the arrival of Lady Aquila Aquasiadel. She became the head of the family after shedding the blood of her siblings. Her nature was very aggressive, and after she violently crushed the summit, The land dwellers fell silent. In contrast, Pierre Aquasiedel has lived a very quiet life in comparison to his known strength. Bellis wonders if someone like him would quietly endure that stench of discrimination. They are told that with so many distinguished guests who arrived earlier, they are not sure if there are any vacant rooms left. He asks them for their understanding. Pierre asks the person if he is saying that they cannot stay here. This makes Calypso taken aback as she questions if they cannot stay here. She is aware she was so distracted calming Tooth, and now this sudden disaster has appeared. The snake was nervous because he hated the people here and was telling her to hide him. She cannot believe that they cannot stay in this castle. She calls out to Pierre as he asks her why is she doing that. She asks them if they cannot sleep at the dragon's castle. She seems very emotional as she questions if that is really the case. He tells her that is what they say. The person ponders that he absolutely won't let them stay here. He wonders how dare they set foot in the castle of the noble dragon duke, thinking there's no room for fishy-smelling creatures here. He thinks that if they insist on complaining, then he will reluctantly give them a room. This beastman was recently hired as the dragon's castle butler. Pierre suddenly attacks him and pushes him. They are aware because he is new, he has not heard the story of Ocula Aquasiel. He gets hit on the wall as Calypso is totally shocked. She asks him why did he resort to violence, as it is not going to help. He tells her it just happened. He asks the person if he keeps hitting him, will a room appear? The person becomes nervous and realizes this is the power of water. He thinks he is going to die. Pierre tells him if he is going to die, then who is going to guide them? Mentioning that he will have to try to stop right before he dies. The other guards become taken aback. The person tries to apologize, but Pierre keeps on attacking. He then finds out that he is a predator. The person apologizes and mentions it really seems that there was a misunderstanding. Pierre asks him what misunderstanding is he talking about. He questions how does this person plan to apologize for this. He states that he will set up the best room immediately for them. Calypso asks the person to give them the room closest to the Dragon Duke. Bellis tells her that the Dragon Duke does not stay in this castle. He lives in his own separate castle. Calypso questions about it. The person apologizes and asks him to please have mercy and that he's really sorry. Even after saying sorry countless times, Pierre states that he has not paid the price yet. Has he? Questioning, did not he ask him how he plans to apologize for this? He is told to stop it as that person is the head butler of this castle. They know he has endured a lot up to this point. Pierre questions if this is how the Dragon's Duke Castle treats its guests. The butler apologizes again and again, but Pierre states he should not apologize but instead compensate for it. The butler questions what do they want. Pierre asks Calypso what does she want and she should share it. Calypso wonders if Pierre caused an even bigger commotion for her sake. Her heart tickles. She tells him that she wants to greet the Dragon Duke. The butler is totally shocked as he knows that is impossible. He apologizes to her and mentions this is something they need to ask about. Pierre mentions that if he values his life, he needs to bring an answer by tomorrow, and then he asks the butler to guide them to their room. The butler asks them respectfully if they can accompany him. Morning appears as Calypso is aware that the view of her room is amazing. She thinks if she had come here alone as the dragon's bride, she would have never been able to get a room like this. The dragon's bride is merely called a bride. In reality, she is closer to a sacrifice. Among them, there is no one who has lived for more than a few years or returned alive. She wonders what exactly does the dragon's bride go through. The recorded content only details the procedures and processes for deciding on the dragon's bride. The story always ends with the dragon's bride meeting the Dragon Duke. Originally, the Dragon Duke was a figure worthy of respect by the female lead. She wonders, what on earth would such a person do to his bride? She thinks if she had known this would happen, she should have shown more interest in the previous life she was already in. Information, and when her father went out, she was going to ask Tooth about the Dragon's Duke location. But the problem is that Calypso finds it very suffocating in this room. She wonders, what is this déjà vu? Bellis has his eyes fixated on her as she wonders what the hell is this guy doing. Now this uncomfortable atmosphere makes Calypso wonder why Pierre has to leave the two of them. The way he spoke saying he wouldn't let her show off her shoulder makes her sure of one thing. He's off to beat up those land-dwelling, beast-like fools. Calypso and Bellis both know it. If he has something to say, he should just say it. Yet instead, he only mutters that he was just wondering if he could have really done it with her that night without dying. Calypso says no, but deep down, she knows he has always harbored such doubts. Still, she wants to ask him one thing. Why did he follow her? The scene shifts to Aquila. He doesn't understand why he's trying so hard to follow Calypso. No matter how much he thinks or can't think, he can't come up with a logical answer at all. Yet he still says he just wanted to spend more time with her. But Calypso isn't buying it, not one bit. She tells him flatly that if he doesn't want to answer, he can just say no. Bellis, however, responds differently. With a dark smirk, he says that in that case he can't help it, but he will find a reason that satisfies her. Calypso can't tell if he's truly getting attached to her. She knows orcs experience emotions differently. Their feelings develop through combat. They feel joy and triumph in victory, and anger and frustration in defeat. When faced with an opponent they can't beat, they feel despair and sadness. Over time, they learn loyalty toward the strong and even worship them. But the problem is, do these rules really apply to Bellis and her? Calypso tells him not to mind her and to ignore her. When the time comes, she'll disappear. She knows Bellis is usually rational and kind, but once he becomes fixated on something, he clings too tightly more than necessary. And what Bellis should like, what he should pursue in this life, is the authority of the head of the family. She is not his family. This time, she intends to leave this world for good. She plans to return to her real family. Bellis questions her, asking what she'll do then. She repeats firmly that she will disappear. She wants to distract him. There is no need for him to know her full plan. Still, she tells him to listen carefully. Once the Dragon Festival ends, she will leave this place. Bellis questions her again, then what? What will she do as the head of the family? But she retorts that she never intended to become the main successor of the family. He will be the one, yet his dazed, confused eyes make her feel a bit uneasy. At the same moment, Pierre returns, but Bellis turns away from Calypso, making her wonder, is he angry with me? Is it because things aren't going his way? She knows he's the best candidate for the role of head, but she wonders whether he'll really be able to take care of Agenro, Ruga, Rub, and the others. It's a hard thing to ask. However, Pierre brings bad news. He says there's talk that the Dragon Festival might not be held at all. That snaps Calypso to attention. It's obvious Pierre beat the hell out of the land dwellers, yet now he tells her that they told him it's just a rumor. Calypso isn't buying it. She clings to him, questioning why the festival isn't being held. Did he hear any specific reason? There are several rumors swirling. One says the Dragon Duke is sick. Another says the imperial family isn't participating, so the festival has been cancelled. Another whispers that the Pantheon itself opposes it. But in the end, the truth isn't clear. Calypso tells Pierre to come with her to the restaurant. She intends to hear these rumors firsthand. As the two of them leave, Calypso turns to Tooth and asks if he knows anything about the festival. But he responds with confusion. What festival? The girl practically breaks down. How is she supposed to explain all this to him? Pierre thinks it's obvious Tooth is simply an underdeveloped creature. But all Tooth can think about is getting back to the Duke. He left for the castle for the Duke's sake. In the end, he failed and almost died. Now that he's failed, he needs to return quickly. But he can't go to the Duke alone. He desperately wants to ask Calypso for help. But for that, he needs to get stronger. First, he needs to become stronger. The scene shifts to the Dragon Duke lying in bed. He seems to be in considerable pain, and in his weakened state he calls for Tooth. At the Dragon Castle dining table, both Pierre and Calypso have made a great mess, but to understand how they ended up here, things need to rewind about 20 minutes. Back then, Calypso and Pierre had entered the dining hall of the landfolk to personally hear the unpleasant rumors swirling around the Dragon Festival. The two had unnecessarily announced their arrival with a thunderous voice that echoed through the hall. Predictably, the moment they stepped in, mocking voices filled the air. The crowd sneered at them with looks of utter contempt without hiding even a trace of fear. They bicker loudly, blaming the pair for the cancellation of the festival. Some even declare that the two should be banned from setting foot on land. Hearing this, Calypso and Pierre start giving them the death glare, and that's exactly how they ended up dragged into this mess and brought to the Dragon Castle. Calypso hates these landfolk. To make herself feel better, she calls over a trembling young man. With an amused glint in her eyes, she steps on his disgusting fingers and warns him if he doesn't want to lose them, he better watch his tongue. Then, in a calm but sharp voice, she asks the crowd if any of them know why the Dragon Festival isn't being held. They tell her that if she's so curious, she should ask the attendants. Still stepping on the man's hand, she narrows her eyes and warns him again to answer properly unless he truly wants to lose those fingers. The poor fox-faced man stammers that he really doesn't know anything, except that the Dragon Duke isn't holding the festival this year. The rumors say he isn't feeling well. Tooth interrupts, saying that's a lie. The fox tries again, saying the Dragon Duke probably just wants to rule over the world. Tooth calls that a lie too. Then the fox adds that maybe the Duke simply doesn't want to see them insignificant creatures. Again, Tooth denies it with conviction. Yet Calypso, watching the trembling man closely, can tell he's not lying. So either the rumors they've heard are fake, or someone deliberately started them. Suddenly, loud, unhinged laughter echoes across the hall. A massive bear scoffs as he appears, finally showing his face. Calypso immediately recognizes him as someone potentially useful, at least more useful than the others. He acts smug, even after losing. The bear says he knows Pierre and that he's heard Aquila is weaker than him. Still, he warns that the Black Panthers from the Pantheon's ducal family might show up, and when that happens, they'll be the ones falling. Calypso runs at him, fuming. Why is Pierre even listening to this stupid bear? She's absolutely certain they need to teach this beast what happens when a loser talks too much. Pierre agrees. He silently casts magic, and the bear is immediately silenced. Calypso sighs inwardly. If she stays here as the dragon bride, she'll have to deal with garbage like this every day. The best idea she can come up with is to kidnap the Dragon Duke and take him to the Klee whale family herself. Just then, Tooth speaks up and asks for her help to take him to the Duke. Now, in a quiet room, Tooth asks if she'll go with him tonight. Calypso agrees but says she wants to ask him something first. She wants to know if she can speak to him telepathically, echoing the words in her head because she doesn't want Pierre or Bellis to overhear. Tooth nods and says she can. Calypso starts to focus. It's not easy, but she manages. In her previous life, when she was half human, she had used water magic to communicate. She wonders now, is water shaking the only thing she can do? A strange voice interrupts them, making Tooth turn around. It's the Dragon Duke calling for him. Tooth looks teary-eyed. He really misses the Duke. Calypso gently tries to comfort him and tells him to explain everything. She'll help. Tooth confesses he needs a strong beastman, a powerful force to reach the Duke. The beastmen guarding the Duke are incredibly strong, and he needs to get past them somehow. Calypso doesn't understand why the Duke is being watched in the first place. Tooth once believed she was weak, but now he's sure she's quite powerful. She asks him directly, did he really think she was weak when they first met? Tooth says yes. Enraged, she starts beating him lightly, calling him a rascal. This is how he repays her? She took him out of that cursed life to save him. Finally, she demands to know, why is the Duke being watched? If Tooth likes the Duke so much, why was he in the forest all alone? Why hasn't the Duke come out even though Tooth has returned? And why didn't he ask the people in the castle for help from the beginning? Tooth replies quietly that he can't say much more. Calypso thinks to herself just as expected. The situation Tooth speaks of and the situation these people claim to know about are completely different. Even if she asserted her authority in a place exclusive to aquatic beastmen, the attendants likely wouldn't speak honestly. One thing is clear, they'll have to act. She tells Tooth firmly they'll go tonight. Tooth lights up with happiness at her words. She then asks him if he knows the way. He nods. Calypso flops down and declares that she'll go speak with Pierre first. After that, they'll leave. As she gets up to go, Tooth calls out to her and tells her to take care. Calypso smiles softly at him. She heads toward the room where Pierre is. The door isn't locked. She opens it to find him sitting on the sofa, looking like someone who could fix the entire world or break it. With water magic, Pierre draws her closer, saying he didn't notice it until today, but she is truly beautiful. Calypso pouts, having never expected to hear something like this from him. Pierre responds that of course he sees her that way after all. A father is supposed to adore his daughter. Calypso, however, finds him quite delinquent and wonders if Pierre's truly someone who keeps his promises. He admits he's not sure about that sort of thing, but when she demands an explanation, he says that if he really had to put it into words, then he's simply happy right now. She recalls how he always wore that aloof face, like he could disappear at any moment. Now she questions him, won't he feel the same kind of happiness with age in her? But he replies that if their son was as smart as her, with a personality like hers and shared the same values, then maybe, just maybe, he would have considered it. His answer makes her sigh. If he really has to give this much description, then it has to be her. She then questions him again, what about Bellis? He is stronger than her, isn't he? But Pierre shakes his head and says even he isn't suitable. After all, Bellis is too much like himself. But beyond all that, Calypso is truly surprised by how different the dragon estate looks compared to the killer whale estate in Aquasiatle. There is no other tall building like this, and the mansion here aren't that imposing either. These differences make her wonder what she is even doing. By now, she should be getting to the main point, yet it feels unfamiliar, even awkward, seeing herself trying to avoid the topic. She clenches her hand and finally speaks. She tells him that she likes this place, and what she's trying to say is that he can go back alone. Her words make him flinch. He immediately questions whether she means that she wants to live here with him. He says he understands that she likes high places, but to this extent, he never imagined. He points out that if she really plans on staying here, then she'll need protection. Trips to the village and a personal bodyguard wouldn't be a bad idea. But poor Calypso wonders whether he is even listening to her. She tries to explain again, but then he suddenly questions her, his aura darkening. Does she really expect him to leave her here alone? He asks if she truly doesn't understand what kind of people inhabit this place. His energy begins to radiate at full power, and Calypso is startled. This is the true power of her father. He tells her not to say such ridiculous things. Calypso wonders what exactly she is feeling. She can sense the intensity, but it doesn't have the same competitive edge that she used to feel from her grandmother. There is something else here, something that assures her that her father won't give up on her this easily. And strangely enough, that thought is comforting. He reminds her that she told him to act like her father. She may have said it lightly, but to him, this is not something he can just let go of so easily. From now on, he makes it clear that her only task is to receive his protection and his training so she can become the kind of adult she desires to be. It's a truly perplexing type of affection that she is feeling, and it's strange, but she doesn't hate it. Pierre notes that she looks tired and asks if the journey exhausted her. Calypso thinks to herself, if he had been the kind of father who cherished her like this back then, she wouldn't have left him to die with that horrible disease in his past life. She asks him to treat her well, and he assures her that every day he will try his best to improve. But Calypso apologizes, saying that she won't be here until she becomes an adult. It's just that she truly misses her own world, and she's already endured 60 years just for that. Later, we see Calypso jumping around like a ninja. She finally lands in front of Tooth and confirms it. The way she's dressed, she looks well prepared for a mission. Tooth comments that she will have to run for a long time. She tells him to hold on tight, and this girl runs faster than light. She eventually reaches their destination, but as she surveys the area, she finds it strange. So this is where the Dragon Duke lives? The condition of the place is pathetic. It's not at all the location Bellis described to her. In a low voice, she asks Tooth how on earth they are going to get inside. But Tooth, with a teenager's sarcasm, tells her she really needs to be quiet for now. Suddenly, Calypso senses something and leaps into action. There, she sees someone emerge straight out of the wall. His skin, once black, has now turned into a bluish hue. There's no doubt this guy is a chameleon. If the Can Dwellers' ground forces haven't changed in this round, then chameleons are known to have weak combat power. They always move in pairs. A chameleon partner is always a carnivore. This chameleon calls out to someone, saying the area is safe. Then, like lightning, the second one arrives. She looks a bit rough around the edges and mutters that guard patrols really aren't her thing. Seeing Lady Hera, Calypso can't help but wonder what kind of prestigious family of Can Beastmasters gets involved in something like this. With white beige fur marked by dark spots and a deeper shade surrounding the ears, it is unmistakably a hyena, one of the 5 influential families on the continent of Can. As the chameleon observes this, he affirms that the presence here is not the full force that will be mobilized to protect that old building. He explains further that a few days ago, members of the Pantherrock ducal family were spotted keeping watch. Hera can hardly believe it, even the Black Panthers are being deployed. Hearing this, Calypso begins to understand why Tooth had insisted on calling for a stronger beastman to come here. The chameleon then turns to Hera, asking whether it is true that the festival will not be held this time. Hera isn't entirely certain herself, but she does wonder if the condition of the site now in ruins makes it appear that way. The absence of any clear announcements leaves even the important guests in confusion, unable to understand anything for sure. The Imperial family, meanwhile, has confined and is now closely monitoring the Dragon Duke. On the surface, they have put up a facade by decorating a fake castle. Hera recalls the Duke, his eyes still glinting with a strange shimmer, and admits to the chameleon that there is not much time left. She tells him yes, this is because the current Dragon Duke will die soon, and the next they will meet will be a reincarnated form, a new being altogether. She assures him that her mother's intuition is rarely wrong, and this is what her mother has foreseen. The chameleon, upon hearing this, is relieved. This is good news. The two of them part ways. Meanwhile, Calypso speaks to Tooth, trying to calm him down, reminding him that they are here to rescue the Duke, and that no matter what, they will protect him. Tooth thanks her, and they begin to move. She again asks him if it's true that there will be no more guards after they cross the boundary. Tooth assures her that there won't be. Calypso remains uncertain about the Panther Run, but she is confident in handling people like the ones they faced earlier. Still, she knows this isn't a good thing whether she kills them or not. It would still cause problems. If they kill the guards, suspicions will immediately be cast upon them, and in that case her family already at a disadvantage will surely be accused. If they only knock them out, someone like her would be blamed, and she might end up being caught. The best option then is to avoid any encounter at all, and to get in and out without being noticed. She sees a broken wall that leads into the castle and uses it as an entry point. Once inside, Tooth tells her he knows a better place than this. She notices that not a single person is present in the manor, which is deeply concerning. There's even a hole in the structure, and no one has bothered to repair it. She wonders about the purpose of a place that, despite its polished outward appearance, is left so unattended. Then she thinks perhaps this is intentional. In that case, the Dragon Duke could be using this ruined airflow from the hole, but it's all too sloppy. She once again asks Tooth if he can tell her what exactly is going on. Tooth explains that he was only recently born, and even the events before his birth are unknown to him. Suddenly, Calypso hears something. It's a maid. The girl is practically trembling, and Calypso begins to wonder why she's so frightened. Tooth points to the maid, indicating they should follow her. The maid makes her way toward the Duke's room, and they trail her silently. Finally, the maid reaches the door, pulls on something, and an enormous sound erupts like wind, like pressure, a power reminiscent of what Pierre once used with water. Calypso can feel it. It is the power of fear. The maid, terrified, runs off, and even the Duke screams from inside the room. Calypso becomes alarmed. She is now certain the Duke is being watched and confined under direct orders from the imperial family. If there is a reason for it, then it must be related to a potential rampage. She turns to Tooth and tells him that she must know one thing before they open the gate. She questions whether the Duke is truly in a state of rampage. Tooth, with complete confidence, replies that the Duke is completely fine. The door opens on its own. Calypso looks at the shadow cast inside. It is massive. If that is the size of the shadow, then surely the body must be even greater. But to her surprise, the figure inside is just a child. She wonders if the spoiled food in front of him had angered him after all. That would be understandable, considering he is still a baby. The little dragon moves to eat the food, but Calypso quickly steps forward and stops him. The food is clearly spoiled. Even in the dim light, she can see it clearly. She has seen food like this before, when she was about to be sold to the Panthers clan. She orders the child to let go of the food. It is dangerous. But there is no response. She begins to wonder if she should have spoken more gently. With glowing yellow eyes, the little dragon gazes at her. His gaze feels different, but his face is familiar, yet the situation is nothing like what she imagined. In fact, it is far worse than the public believes. The confinement and surveillance by the royal family, even the spoiled food, they are not accidents. They are intentional. Suddenly, she recalls what Hera said about the Duke dying soon. And finally, she puts the pieces together. The young dragon, this child, is being slowly made to die, but she still doesn't understand why. Calypso tells herself she must first regain her composure. She hasn't figured out anything yet, and panicking will not help. The child in front of her must be the dragon Fuge, and she reassures herself that she has not come to harm him, only to speak. She addresses him with a gentle hello, but there is no response. Growing frustrated, she turns to Tooth and tells him to stop crying and help her. This useless snake is offering her no support at all. Fortunately, the Fuge dragon recognizes Tooth, and Calypso seizes the opportunity, telling the child that this is right. She brought him here, so they should have a little chat. The Duke dragon, seemingly puzzled, repeats the word conversation. Calypso nods and affirms that yes, they will talk, but first he needs to let go of the spoiled food and brush away the dust clinging to him from sitting on the floor. She suggests they move somewhere safe, somewhere away from prying eyes. Finally, they reach a quiet place, but all she sees now is the crying Tooth and the silent child. Calypso tells him again to speak and end this pointless crying session. But even then, the Fuge dragon shows no reaction. She calls him Duke and tells him to wipe his tears, noting that it's his familiar, the one who is crying because he missed him so much. Still, there's no reaction. Calypso begins to wonder if he's really the same one from the original novel. At this rate, they won't even manage a proper conversation. Her frustration builds, and she orders Tooth to explain what is going on. Eventually, she learns the truth. The Duke Dragon is in a simpleton-like state. However, Tooth assures her that the boy knows how to use a spoon. Calypso reflects that in her own family, there's someone the same age even attends family meetings. Then to summarize what Tooth is saying, the Dragon Duke has only grown physically. A Dragon Duke is born naturally, without reproduction. In other words, he has no biological parents. Someone else is needed to raise and teach them. While there are familiars who instinctively know how to serve a dragon from birth, it is impossible for a familiar alone to teach him everything, especially complex things like emotions. So now it has come to this. The Duke is not ignoring her emotions. He simply doesn't know how to respond to them. Calypso, almost despairing, asks who in the world is responsible for all this. Tooth replies that he has overheard bits of information from within the castle, but doesn't know the entire truth. Calypso tells him to spill whatever he does know. Tooth relays that the lion said one thing, that they must remember fear. Centuries ago, the dragon's rampage did not benefit the Empire, and now they must remember that fear but use it as a foundation. The newly reborn Dragon Duke will be thoroughly prepared. He is not a sibling of the imperial family, but an emotionless weapon. To manipulate such a weapon more easily, nothing should be taught to him. And if all of this proves too difficult, then they plan to abandon him. Calypso is stunned. She had expected it to be hard to meet the feud dragon in this life, but not like this. Now she realizes he is just like her. She asks Tooth nervously if he knows whether the Fuge will one day use power that transcends time and space. Tooth responds that a dragon can go anywhere and can even travel through time. Calypso questions whether that power can be used right now. Even if it feels heartless, she knows she cannot base her decision on emotion or pity. These uncertain things always make her anxious. She just wants to confirm it. Tooth answers honestly he cannot use that power yet, since he hasn't learned anything. But that means he will be able to use it once he grows up. Ironically, she feels relieved by this answer. In the end, they can form a relationship where they help each other. Now that she has confirmed this, she knows what's most important. At that moment, she notices the small dragon grabbing her hand. He is copying what she did earlier. And to her, it just feels like this child was born only to survive. Now she is sure that helping him is the right thing to do. She gently asks the Fuge what his name is. He repeats the same question back to her. Calypso answers that her name is Calypso. He says her name again, and this time, it feels like her image has finally imprinted in his eyes. She turns to Tooth and asks him what he thinks. Tooth replies that he thinks she's amazing. She tells him to hand the Duke over to her now. The Dragon Duke won't be able to learn anything here, and she assures him that they will feed the Duke properly and give him rest and affection. She asks the child to come with her. She makes a deal with him that she will show him the world, and that one day he too will be able to choose a world of his own and live freely. She plans to send him back one day. For now, she smiles at him, and together they are ready to fly toward her Aquasiatle. But again, she thinks that it will be a little too much for someone to do it alone, so she'll go with him, and then she'll have to answer both Pierre and Billis. She asks Tooth if he'll be able to hear her if she speaks from anywhere in this area. He assures her that he can hear her from anywhere. She tells him that she'll come back tomorrow and will take the Duke Dragon with her. With tears in his eyes, Tooth says they'll be waiting for her. She thinks to herself that if there is anyone who can be a strong ally for her, it's definitely him. Now, at the Dragon Court, she says to Pierre that she has to return home with the Duke Dragon. Pierre literally takes time to process what she just said. He reminds her that last night they talked about going somewhere, so does she really mean the Duke Dragon? She responds as if he already doubts it. But it seems like Tourette decisions are quite strong. She then explains the whole situation that happened. She tells him everything, from the fact that the Duke has been confined to a ruined castle and raised by the Empress, to how even the dragon is currently being liked less and less because he has failed to serve as a weapon. Pierre understands then that she needs stronger help. She thanks him and thinks that once she convinces her father, Bellis will have no choice but to follow them. But Pierre comments that the way she casually said she's going back home with the Grave Duke was kind of crazy. He explains the reason why the Dragon Duke lives in the Dragon City Akina. It's due to a solemn oath passed down from the first emperor. It's for this reason that the Duke can't just do whatever he wants, nor can he leave without permission from the imperial family. Calypso already knew that the Dragon Duke couldn't leave the city. She thinks that her father is the only help she can get, and it will be beneficial if he just accepts her offer. It will really be difficult for her if he doesn't help her, but she tells herself that it's okay that after all, she can do this alone. But the hardest part is that when things get ugly, she'll have to come back all over again. He then says to her that what he was going to say is that she told him she wanted to stay here. She replies yes. He questions whether it was because she was planning on kidnapping the Duke Dragon. She replies that it wasn't her intention, but yes, that is what ended up happening. It seems like he's disappointed as he realizes that it means she wanted to stay. She responds that it's that kind of thing, but rather than make him feel good, it only makes him question what she truly feels about him. She says that she was planning to stay with him, but it still wasn't enough to make Pierre happy. Yet as a show of her sincerity, he believes that he deserves the change in titles on her part. There is a complete silence. He finally asks her why she is so intimidated. After all, it's not like he has ever scolded her, and that is actually true. He only wanted her to tell him first the next time she does something like this. If she wants, he can even break the capital for her. What he means is that they are together from the start. She then questions if he will help her rescue the Dragon Duke. He answers yes, but she is curious, why is he always helping her like this? Is it because he pities her? But he retorts that he's doing this because he is her father, and he simply wants to protect her. If she wants to do something, she can.